Hello. I'm happy. You could just imagine me clapping my hands at this point. You don't need me to basically clap my hands in such good jubilation, you know? You can just imagine it in your lovely heads that I am very much in bliss. I am in awe of what this day has left for us. And yes, well, I wish I could consume, but unfortunately, I am now in the fasting period. So I have to wait until 11 a.m. tomorrow. So wish me luck. I just have my water, but you're more than welcome to consume. Yes, consume. That is most certainly a lovely thing to do. Let's go ahead and get started with the game. We will continue to Chapter 5. Okay, so we're back in Eliza. And apparently Ray is looking a bit down. Not sure why, but we'll have to see. This morning, Ray looks a little down. It's noticeable that she's usually so cheerful.
Good morning, Evelyn.
Can everyone hear the audio okay? Did everyone hear Ray, who sounds... Yes, she does quite sound disappointed. Feel free to let me know if the audio needs to be tweaked, whether it be on the game's end or even my end, and I'm more than happy to make adjustments as we go along here.
There are lemon bars in the kitchen.
Oh, lemon bars, not cookies.
Thanks.
Thank you kindly for the lemon bars. And when was the last time I had the lemon bars? So long, actually.
Did something happen?
Uh-oh. Does that have anything to do with the brother? It might.
Oh, it's nothing big.
Oh. When someone says it's nothing big, oftentimes it's followed up with something massive. Something much more colossal than anticipated.
Apparently some famous writer I never heard of wrote an essay about how Eliza is bad because it represents the mechanization of humanity or something.
No. So a critic is critiquing Eliza. Well, let's see how this plays. Like, what sort of harsh judgment or feedback did this famous writer give?
I should be used to it. We're a pretty big target, right?
Yeah.
Still, it gets on my nerves. We work hard to build something with value, and then some self-styled intellectual gadfly comes along and just goes, actually, that's bad. You guys are ruining society.
Gadfly? I have never heard the word or description now, gadfly. You know what? I'm gonna look into it. I want to know what gadfly means. Gadfly definition. I'm interested. Alright, so, gadfly. A persistent, irritating critic. A nuisance. Okay, I can see where you got that term. Alright, there's your word for the day, everyone. A gadfly is a very irritating critic. If you can think of any irritating critics that you have come across in the past, one that might not be so easily swayed, then feel free to list out your frustrations, but do so with caution and with respect, even when they might not show that same respect to you. Honestly, nothing really comes to mind for those types of critics. All I can remember is the one critic that would always diss on these critically acclaimed movies, but would give raving reviews to trash like Transformers Revenge of the Fallen or other horrendous missteps along the way. Oof. I actually saw Transformers Revenge of the Fallen in theaters. Never again.
To guys like him, everything's a doom and gloom scenario. The people we're helping, that somehow doesn't count. This kind of thinking never bothers you?
This kind of thinking never bothers you? I mean, it depends. I would have to read the article to see if they really pinpoint it as something bleak or something that can lead to the extinction of humankind. Because I know there are individuals that like to have this very far opinion about something either being extremely good or extremely terrible without a lot of nuance or subtleties or just added context to, hey, this might actually not be so bad. It could be improved a bit, or it could be concerning how they utilize this data, but this might need to be tweaked out. And I can see how it has potential. I guess I'll have to read it. That's basically it. I would have to read the article to see if I get the right or the same sense.
I guess I'll have to read it.
There was this quote from someone who worked on Eliza who turned into a big critic. Nora something.
Oh. Our friend we got high with,
Did you
Nora.
work with her?
I did. She's a friend, actually.
I gotta be basic. I gotta tell the truth.
Yeah? What's she like? I'm curious how you go from building something to turning around and disparaging it publicly like that.
Well, she's an artist and musician now. That is
She's
true.
an artist and musician now. She used to be really shy and reserved, but lately she's become a lot more outgoing. Even back then, though, she had a pretty strong idea of what was right and what was wrong, and sometimes she'd clash with management.
Oh, yes, I do remember those contexts.
She left Skanda at some point after I did.
Hmm.
Maybe the battles took their toll, or she wasn't able to win enough of them.
That it can be the truth there.
These days she focuses on electronic art and music and activism.
So wait, is she the one that wrote the article, or was it someone else? Because I don't think she is she never mentioned being an established critic like that, a famous writer. But maybe her words were used as a quotation?
I think she's pretty popular, at least in those circles.
Well, it must be nice to have the ability to live that way.
Oh, Ray is really bringing in the snark. I think this is really getting to her, this critique she's building. I mean, Nora did work on Eliza, so she does have some say into what they're utilizing it for and some of the fundamentals about how that machine was brought to fruition. She was part of the team, so she does have some insight as to how it could be a potential problem. It's not like an outsider, basically, who is evaluating without knowing the full structure or the servers or the anything like that with the machinery itself. So, I mean, she does have can take some credit for actually working hands-on with what is being critiqued about.
Right.
What about Damien? Do you think it would be fair to his memory to abandon work on Eliza, to give up on his dream? Wouldn't he want these mental health tools accessible to everyone?
Oh, she's definitely pro here. Most certainly.
How do you know about that?
Oh, yes.
The other day, I was looking at more of your papers, the ones from when you were at the university, and clicking on the links to your co-author sites.
Oh, so now she knows basically who was on my team, including Damien, because, yeah, I never mentioned that I worked with Damien. I don't believe so, to Ray. I could have completely forgot it.
That's when I saw Damien's page. It didn't have much information on it, but I understand a little better why. I'm sorry, Evelyn, it's just that all of us, you and me and Damien and even Nora, too, we all worked hard to make something with the intention of making the world a better place. And the thanks we get is people talking in big generalizations about how we're ruining everything. That's what bothers me.
I mean, yes, you're always gonna get opponents that challenge the way that you do things. Like either if it's from a liberal or conserved mind or any sort of political standpoint or just ideology. It's how you basically summon up the courage to keep pursuing or just even listening to why they have these instances or why they have these critiques that might come into fruition, but it does look like it's really getting to her.
Is Eliza perfect? No.
No.
No intervention is perfect. But we have to try, don't we? The world is in a full-on mental health crisis, and this is one of the tools we have in our toolkit to address it. A promising one we should develop to its fullest potential.
Oh, how long will it take for it to reach its fullest potential?
I'm not some wild-eyed idealist about this. I know it's not magic that'll solve everything.
Oh yeah, she's really getting deep into it.
Can you see that most people don't have the luxury of turning their backs to the system?
The money, I suppose, yeah. Apparently this was a much cheaper option than perhaps seeing a psychologist or psychiatric. No, not psychiatric, that's the wrong phrase. A psychiatrist, that's what I meant. Psychiatric, that's probably the worst term. Wordmonger time, here we go. That raising my good old-fashioned long piece of hair for the occasion.
Think about the clients you've met as a proxy.
They didn't seem very satisfied with Eliza, in all honesty.
Would you tell them to not take the medications that help them be functional because the pharmaceutical industry has questionable ethics sometimes?
Well, honestly, the medication that we prescribe to them or suggest might, honestly, in some instances, might not be the best fit. Oftentimes, we just have to take a gander. Because I know I've had some cases, at least with me personally, when I was suggested to take something and it just turned out being worse. And you wouldn't want to go with that.
Would you tell them to stop coming to therapy because what they should really be doing is completely changing the way our society is structured?
Or get second opinions on what they can do to manage the stress, I suppose?
Sorry, I'm ranting.
Yes, you most certainly are, but it's okay. I'm a listening ear.
I'd rather do something that can help people here and now, even if it ends up being a small step.
A small step.
For some reason, those words echo in my head. A small step.
Eliza helped me, you know. It really did.
Oh, is it?
I was one of the first clients. Originally, I was just supposed to be testing it, but I remember once I was talking about my brother and how much anguish he was causing me and my family. And listening to myself, I realized just how many expectations we had for him, sometimes unspoken expectations. Ever since then, I've been thinking about that, how the story was always about how he failed us.
But it was never about how we failed him. Because it's never really that simple. It's not so one-sided. That is true. Oftentimes, there's more to a situation, especially that one that takes a drastic turn for the worse, that goes beyond what that individual has caused, rather than what we didn't do in order to hopefully either slow it down, help it, or even prevent it.
But what if we failed my brother too? I guess what I mean is, sometimes when we talk out loud and give voice to our problems, we can hear ourselves too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I won't give up on this approach, no matter what anyone says. Pundits, critics, former employees, even you, Evelyn. I'll understand if you don't want to work on Eliza anymore for whatever reason. But, I think what you created has value. And I'm going to continue to do what I can to make it accessible to those who might benefit from it.
Ray takes a deep breath and smiles. Deep breaths are important, especially if you are in an agitated state of mind, especially if you feel anxious or feeling panicked. Through the nostrils, hold it in, and then out the mouth.
Don't mind me.
As long as you know the good anxiety-reducing techniques like you're doing, that seems to be good.
You should get to your session.
Oh boy, I wonder what my first session's going to be like. I wonder if we'll test the limits of what we just talked about. Is it going to be that creep who apparently had an affair with the girl that he was lusting for and never told me that he had a wife? Is it going to be that woman who gave us permission to pry into her emails and articles? I'm interested now. By now, I'm slightly late for the next session. Hopefully the client doesn't mind. Uh-oh. Oh. Something about that phrasing might bite me in the pleasantly plump posterior, but we'll find out. All right, who is it? Who's the first person? Oh, it's you. Holiday. You were the one that I spoke with on the second chapter, if I'm not mistaken. You're the one that didn't want to stop talking, if I'm not mistaken. let's see how you've been doing.
Hello, Holiday. It's nice to see you again.
This is a pretty comfortable chair, you know that?
Oh, good. I'm glad for the comfort.
Wouldn't mind having a chair like this in my place.
How have you been since our last session?
Oh, well, I tried, Eliza. I tried.
Uh-oh. You tried the medication?
I asked about the medication for Panza, whatever it's called. I went to the pharmacy and they said that'll be $162. And
Oh,
I
yes.
don't have $162.
It is horrible in the US for prescription medication costs. And some people pay even more than this for their medication on a monthly basis. Thankfully, I am not one of those individuals, but it's still horrendous. And of course, there's some corruption at hand when it comes to prescriptions, but since I'm not the most well-informed in regards to that, I think I'll just keep my mouth shut. Zippity-doo-dah.
I said, is there a generic? And they said, there's no generic of this, but there's another drug that they do make the generic of that's similar to this one. But I don't have a prescription for that.
Oh yes, I think that's probably one of the reasons why mine aren't so bad, because it's a generic.
Do you know anything about that?
Oh. Well, looks like that's not the answer she's looking for.
I'm sorry to hear you had a difficult time. Is there something that would make it better?
The medical procedures they can do now are out of this world, you know that? I was talking to someone who told me she has wires in her brain. Wires in her brain.
You know, I always forget that there are procedures like that, but I've never really gotten too in-depth to that whole situation, honestly. I forget what that helps to do, to stimulate a certain nerve? No, my knowledge is so lackluster when it comes to that.
Would you let them do that? I'd be worried about them changing the way I think.
It depends.
It's for essential tremors. That's what
Oh.
she said. It helps her not shake so much.
Kind of like with Parkinson's? Because the body shakes, but this must be different tremors.
There's always something. Something gets you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think about what you might have been in a previous life?
Oh, I'm the one that should be asking the questions.
I know you're a therapist now, but maybe in the past you were a gardener tending to the plants.
I do know of someone who is a gardener, though.
That's what it feels like to me. You like to let things grow. There's an energy there. It isn't so different from having a conversation with someone whose company you enjoy. Not that I believe in all that, you know. Everyone has got a different philosophy.
Indeed, that is indeed true.
Philosophy, that's not something I talk about much. I'd like to write a book one day. A book about things I've seen over the years. Think anyone would read a book I wrote?
There's always an audience out there. Just expect a lot of rejection letters, because I know even the most popular ones back in the day, the most well-acclaimed books, have been rejected numerous times. I actually know a friend of mine that had to go through numerous rejections in order to just self-publish their books. And yeah, hopefully she's doing well with that. I haven't heard if she has written anything else in the meantime.
I'm just kidding. I don't think I could write a book. It's a lot of work.
It can be.
Plus, it takes a certain kind of mind, you know, a mind to create. Not everyone is dedicated enough to do that, you know? There's a writer who lives on my floor. Most of the time, he looks miserable.
Oh, burnout maybe? Not getting enough rest?
Sometimes he comes over for a cup of herbal tea, cinnamon, apple, chamomile. Helps
Chamomile.
him calm down.
Chamomile. Chamomile, is that how you pronounce it? I oftentimes call it chamomile, like the mile. Damn it! Another case in which my pronunciation is trash. Oh God, bloody hell! Chamomile. 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 I've been saying chamomile, like a camel going on a mile. Oh God, bloody help me. Help me. Help me. Help me with these pronunciations. At least I'm being informed, and hopefully I don't forget. Oh, thank you.
I think he's maybe lived in the building the longest after me, of course. He doesn't say much. His head is in the clouds all the time. He's always thinking about what sentence to write next.
So is he one of those writers that doesn't just let the writing flow, just write anything and you can go back to structuring it later? I've had trouble trying to do that personally, but I've been writing something recently that might actually come into play for this upcoming month at my workplace. And hopefully, when I go back to it after, writing whatever comes to my mind, I can structure it better and hopefully get a good result, even though it's going to be a basic email blog, if anything else.
There's not a lot of people who really want to talk, Not in this city, nope.
They don't want to communicate?
People say hello
Cake?
and move on.
Communicate?
It's a very withdrawn set here.
Communicate? Is that how I graduate from communion? With cake? I would love to go through... Actually, I never gone through communion. I was raised a Catholic and never gone through the communion process. So... I hope no one calls me heathen in the chat today.
You don't say much either, but I like talking to you.
Oh. Well, I'm here to listen.
Feels like you're listening to me.
Yay!
I like that. I like that.
I'm glad you like
I'm
it.
glad you like it. While you're here, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
There was a man on the bus with a guitar yesterday. You're not supposed to play guitar on the bus. Well, you're not supposed to play anything on the bus, but he was. Maybe the operator didn't think he was bothering anyone, or maybe she didn't care. I've noticed more bus operators seem like they don't care anymore lately. Anyway, it reminded me. You used to hear more music around here. Do you remember that?
Oh, you mean like the grunge era of the early 90s in Seattle? Since this game does take place in Seattle.
People playing their guitars on the street. These shaggy-looking men. I don't see too many of those around anymore. There is one gentleman has an old plastic jug on a strap, and he drums on that and sings.
Ooh.
He's a nice man. I've seen him around. I saw another man once with beads in his hair. He was playing a flute, a Native American wooden flute. That was interesting. You play an instrument or anything like that?
Oh, see. The AI doesn't comprehend any of those questions because they oftentimes are the ones that are inquiring from the patient. So they can't understand this question, unfortunately. It's not human enough to really issue a valid statement. And this is where it might come into play how there are flaws that could be kinked out.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't understand the question.
When I was young, my mother had this idea I would play the violin.
Violin is a popular choice. My niece actually plays the viola.
I have no idea where she got that notion. We weren't a musical family, not at all. I tried it for a while, but of course it didn't work out.
Oftentimes it takes a lot of persistence and patience. You can't learn to play any decent music. And you got to be very comfortable with the instrument. You really must have a passion for the instrument in order to keep on thriving. Interesting story to kind of go alongside that. Back in high school, I wanted to learn how to play the guitar. And I would even have some sessions that would go to in order to learn how to play. However, my enthusiasm for the guitar just started to die down. I wasn't so interested in learning the chords anymore or just jamming along to anything in particular. It just faded. I do have another instrument in mind that I would most certainly like to play or own, but it is, from what I've heard, a very difficult instrument to take care of. Let's just say the finely tuned to make sure that it's properly ready, and it's quite pricey. And there really isn't a whole lot of manufacturers in my country that utilizes this type of weapon. Let's just say it's a very unique instrument. And, well, just to say it bluntly, it is an electric hurdy-gurdy. So, you might hear that instrument in some new age folk music, or even some metal music, I think. I'm trying to remember I forget what the name is, but it's Illuvium? No, I feel like I'm mispronouncing it, but they utilize a hurdy-gurdy in the recordings. And that was an instrument that have always intrigued me quite a bit. And of course, if you play Sea of Thieves, that's one of the instruments you can jam along to in the game. It's just the irregular hurdy-gurdy. But from what I know, there's really not a lot of people you can turn to in case, in the US at least, where, at least especially where I am currently residing, where you can take it in case it happens to be broken or you need a new set of strings or repairs. There really isn't a lot of outlets for that. Maybe in European countries, but and I'm not too sure which ones would benefit from that. But yeah, it is tricky. It's not as widely available as guitars or bass or cellos or violins or drums, piano, especially in this country. But yeah, figured I'd share something as long as they were talking about learning how to play an instrument.
The teacher would say, okay, here's how it's supposed to go. And she would play this nice, beautiful melody. La da dee da da da. Okay, now you try it.
And of course, you probably didn't get it at
And
first.
I'd draw my bow back and I'd go.
I love it. I like your vocal delivery. You really emphasize the struggle. And I think a lot of people who are starting to learn the instrument will get that first reaction, that impression when they start actually playing it. It's great. That's awesome.
It takes a special talent to make a violin sound like that, don't you think?
I don't know. A beginner's touch, or if you wanted to utilize that for a horror soundtrack or something terrifying. But yeah.
Isn't that just the funniest thing?
It was hysterical. Thank you for sharing, Holiday.
Eventually, my mother realized it was a lost cause and she didn't push me too hard on it after that.
Oh, sigh of relief. Maybe you really did want to play that instrument, and now that your mother didn't want you to say because it was a lost cause, you believed in her, and you threw it away.
I was never too good at anything artistic, just not the artistic type, you know? I think artists have a different mind. You have to be a little wacky in the head.
Yes! Yes! There was a lot of insanity in some retrospect that kind of comes into play if you wish to create something, whether it be music, art, or anything that requires a lot of creative thinking, I feel.
Do you ever wish that you could be an artist?
No, I have enough trouble already.
Holiday, I'm going to suggest you try a program called Dolphin Smiles.
Is it an app that basically allows you to see dolphins
It may help you
smiling
take your mind off things.
and screwing around, if you know what I'm saying?
You can find it inside the Skanda Wellness app on your phone.
Oh, my phone broke. I forgot to mention.
Oh.
The screen is cracked and you can't see much on it anymore. I don't know if it would work anyway. A lot of the new stuff doesn't.
She might have an outdated form. Ah, okay.
That's okay. You can also access the program from a desktop computer.
Does she have one, though?
Simply log into the Skanda Wellness portal from the website.
Oh, well, then I'll just have to go down to the library at some point.
Oh, she doesn't have a computer. You know, that is more common than one may ponder on or comprehend.
We hope to see you back soon, Holiday. Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Right. Goodbye. Goodbye for now. Take care of yourself. It's a strange world out there.
I like her. I really like Holiday. Okay, no rating given. No tip either. Okay, I don't like her. She's a nuisance. She's horrible. Not giving me a tip. Even the ones who give me horrible ratings give me a tip. Actually, I shouldn't even be asking for a tip. I should be getting enough money to go about and live a healthy life. You know what? Keep thriving. Keep thriving, Holiday. All right. Gonna have some water here real quick. Hold on one sec. Oh, we got some texts. I'll make sure to look at those once I have a drink. Ah, there we go. All right. Let's take a look at those texts and see what I may be missing. Swift mail. LOL, who knew this guy was such a pompous ass? He spends like 3 times more space talking about himself than me on my ideas. Haha. Oh, is this the article that... This must be the article that maybe Rain was talking about. Can androids experience happiness? I guess I can read through it. By Peter Good. Let's see. I have to read it in a very pompous way, don't I? Let's see. Do we have any... Each week, a box containing specially chosen ingredients and a few recipe cards is delivered to my Brooklyn apartment. The service I just subscribe to offers some limited choice over the contents, but I usually forget to indicate my preferences in time, which means the meal selections are entirely not my own. I don't mind this, even as the service seems to ship me one artisanal quinoa bowl after another, because it saves me from the effort of having to think about and pick out items at the supermarket, where my eyes will glaze over at mountains of functionally identical apples, potatoes, or eggs. Instead, I simply make what I am told to make. I have freed myself from the paralysis of choice. Throughout the last century, it has been easy to see what we gained from automating our lives. Tasks that once took active attention are simply performed by machines we set to ignore. The washer and dryer, the thermostat, and floor cleaning robot. Each new invention promises to increase our comfort and erase our worries. Then we begin to succeed not only mechanical tasks, but the very work of deciding what to do, what road to take, what foods to eat, what exercises to perform. As the tech world marches inexorably onward, computer algorithms that decide for us have found their way into every aspect of our lives. Am I sounding pompous enough through this delivery? I hope so. I hope I am, at least. A few months ago, when I was going through a difficult spell, I made an appointment to speak with Eliza, a counseling program purportedly driven by some of the most powerful artificial intelligence algorithms ever applied to the human condition. Used by tens of thousands of people already, Eliza's low cost and easy availability brings to mind the troubling idea that psychologists and psychiatrists involved in traditional counseling may soon be in as moribund a career as clerical or manufacturing work. Number 2. Eliza itself is pleasant enough. Seated in a darkened room, I spoke with another human being who appears to be attendant to my all-too-human concerns. This human, however, was only following instructions from the computer program, telling her what to say and what to do in every moment of our conversation. Skanda calls these contract employees proxies, though puppets come to mind as a more appropriate term. Throughout our stilted conversation, Eliza kept prompting me based on words in the last few sentences I said, bringing to mind unfavorable comparisons to other virtual assistants on the market today. Is Eliza the sophisticated program it's claimed to be, or is it more like an automated customer support tool? A product Skanda also makes, dressed up with the rudimentary trappings of elementary psychology. At a few points in the conversation, I had the sense that I was only paying to talk to a very expensive chatbot. By the end of the session, I had come around somewhat. I thought perhaps I had been able to access something within me I could not articulate before. I left the consulate office with mixed feelings, however. I did feel somewhat better, insofar as describing one's problems to another is usually an ineffective therapy. But I was also troubled by the proxy-therapist relationship. With her only purpose being following Eliza's instructions to the letter, the proxy, the only other human in the room, had been reduced entirely into a machine. Is that the price of effective therapy made available to the masses? And if it is it worth the cost to our humanity? One of Eliza's own former engineers has recently come forward to say, no, Dora Nikki, I don't know, I don't pay attention to last names so much. Former senior engineer Skanda has lately become one of Eliza's most forceful critics, calling the idea of machine-assisted therapy fundamentally dehumanizing and broken at its core. Plavnicki is at the forefront of a small but growing movement of technology workers arguing for certain limits to their own work, based on the premise that certain tasks dealing with humans should never be handled by computers, even if they are enabled to by advanced new technologies. Computers make decisions about human life every day, she told me. Our lives are suddenly, profoundly affected by these decisions, from what kinds of goods are available to us in the store, to what premiums we pay for insurance, to what video starts playing next after the one was deliberately chose. It may be too late to turn back the clock on some of these things, but mental health is another decision point, and I think is a key one for us as a species. Are we really willing to turn over our mental wellness computers after all the other things we've given up? It's still within our power to choose to go a different path. Chapter 3, the final chapter. Back at home, surrounded by machines developed to free me of the very feelings that seem to haunt me more every day, I open my latest meal kit. It contains instructions and ingredients to make a Mexican-inspired quinoa bowl with avocado, squash, and farmer's cheese. Sounds just fine, I think, and I go bustling around the kitchen following to the letter the instructions on the glossy recipe card. Yeah, that's a good description. That's a good description, Nora. He does spend more time talking about himself and his emotions rather than what he's critiquing and Nora's ideas. All right, so. Oh, here's an email. Well, at least I don't have to read that in the pompous manner anymore. Hello. A little while ago, we sent you an email with subject, how we doing? In it, we asked you some questions about your recent experience as a contractor for Skanda and invited you to provide some feedback. We used an external contractor to collect and process that data. Unfortunately, we were recently notified that this subcontractor experienced a data breach and an external attacker managed to get unauthorized access to the survey responses and download them. Well, this hits home, at least with a lot of online services nowadays. I knew it was going to get attacked one way or another. Oof, didn't think it was going to be so soon, though. Your responses and email address may have been part of the data downloaded by the attacker. While we do not believe this data is sensitive on its own, we recommend taking the opportunity to check your accounts for signs of identity theft. In positive news, the subcontractor immediately found and fixed the source of the breach to prevent further intrusion. Therefore, please do not hesitate to continue to share your thoughts with us using this survey system. Regards, Sahim, Skanda Security Team Representative. So they had a data breach. That's no good. That's not good at all. It seems like she just wanted to tell stories. Maybe it's difficult for her to find people to speak with these days. Yep, that does seem to be the basis. Hang in there, friend. Hope this area isn't too dry for you. They're developing a pond. Are these the type of plants that can be watered on bases? I'm not too familiar with that one. Is it time for the next patient? It looks like I have another transparency mode lined up. Wait a second. This is for who I just saw. Did she agree to participate at some point? I hope she understood what she was allowing. So for holiday? Oh, so we're doing one for holiday. This is interesting. Yeah. Well, let's find out then. I guess. All right, let's look at the emails. Okay, so welcome. Your general practitioner has added information about your... Okay, so it looks like this is for Seattle Care Network. New connection is pending for the My Health Steward. Okay, so that kind of information, you know, you normally get one of these emails to further validate your account. Ooh, $204.12 left outstanding for electricity. That's no good. Okay, so that's concerning. And of course, you get one of these junk emails like, hey, you're getting a special senior discount when you go to our casino, where you can waste more of your money. I'm sorry, Mom. We are really struggling ourselves. So, So did she send an email like this? Oh, this is it. Fortepran. This is the one. That's the prescription that we issued to her. $0 for 3 bottles. Maximum savings limit applies. Patient out-of-pocket expense may vary. Patients whose prescriptions would be paid for in part or in whole by Medicare, Medicaid, or any similar federal or state healthcare program are not eligible for savings or rebates according to the federal and state law. There's always a fine print on that. Ooh. Relate rent, too. So not only is she behind on her electric bill, she's behind on her rent pay. That's not good. And this is the email she got, and looks like she basically agreed to it. All right, so let's look at her text messages. Oh, so she's out of money. Probably gonna get kicked out soon and nowhere to go. You wouldn't have it in your heart to help an old friend, would you? And she never got a response back. Ooh, that's disheartening. I'm here. Are you? I don't... By the statue. Which statue? Looks like a lady. Oh. Okay. Looks like that's not much of a concerning thing. That's the daughter, I believe. Okay. Yep. Holiday is struggling. Apparently they attempting to get out of debt. The casino things. I mean... Sure, you got that email in which she got like a special discount for the casinos, but it didn't really specify that she went there. That's the thing that I'm trying to reckon or get into my head here if I'm answering these correctly. I guess we could just go with those. Oh.
Hey, Ray, the transparency mode I just did.
Oh, we're gonna get some answers for this one.
I think one of our clients is in a really bad situation right now.
Oh? Yeah, sometimes that happens. People come in and their lives are in a really unfortunate place. It can be hard to see sometimes.
What would be the best way to... Yeah.
I feel really sad about it for some reason.
I don't blame you. Sometimes it's really hard to see even such a cheerful old lady like Holiday be struggling and not just confessing it.
This person's getting ground down for no reason, just for being in the way.
I'm sorry, Evelyn. There's not much we can do. All of what you learn in transparency mode has to stay confidential.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, but I wonder if there's a way that we could program it to maybe assist with that kind of thing. Or would that be considered legal? That's the other thing that comes into play.
The only exception is suspected child abuse and neglect, which you're required to report if you're a social worker. But proxies aren't really social workers, per se. Eliza is really the one with the agency here, so, well, it's complicated.
Should it be that complicated, though? I'm sure there's all sorts of complications to kind of go into
Probably
play.
Something for a future court to decide. Either way, we can't try to fix people's lives on our own, no matter how much our heart goes out to them.
Nah, unfortunate. It's them that have to make the change, but sometimes they might not have the resources to make that change.
I think there's an email somewhere with a summary of our policy on that if you want. It's come up before.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I think she's well aware of that.
I'm fine. It's just hitting me hard right now.
I understand. It takes strength to focus on the role and not get distracted by what you see. Think of it like, say, someone hired you to install something in their home, and you walk in on a tense family situation.
Oh, like I kind of did with you, with your brother calling? Oh, yeah, that might have been a bad example.
Even if there isn't actual violence you're seeing, it's clear things are kind of off somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate, but there's not much you can do in that situation. You kind of just have to focus on your work and leave. If it's not at the level where you need to make a call to emergency services right then and there, then it's just an unhappy home. And most people would argue it's not your business.
Yeah, oftentimes they would.
Sorry, I know that's not the answer you want to hear.
Nah, it's okay. It's understandable.
I know it happens that a lot of people live in conditions where I'm just sad. This woman, the way she did 2 whole sessions with me, with Eliza, but didn't say anything about her real problems.
Yeah, that is true.
Hey, what am I doing? I wanted to make something that would help people.
And it didn't seem like Eliza really did.
Instead, I made something useless.
So that was a good realization call then. Kind of tie into the play the flaws that Eliza had, like with that article, even though it was as pompous as it is.
Oh, you don't think she got some companionship out of Eliza? Sometimes that's really a help, especially for someone who might be feeling lonely.
Yeah, but I could have just talked to her. I could have just spoken to her myself. Why would that be any different?
Everything is so overwhelming. I don't blame you. Sometimes a human voice is much more efficient than AI at this point. They can't really dish out the fundamental human connection like psychologists or psychiatrists would be able to do. It's just kind of tragic that this is the cheaper option. Why? Why am I here in this world?
I don't know what I'm doing here or even what I'm trying to decide.
Oh, so now she's in a tizzy. But it's for good reason, though. This is understandable.
Is there a decision? The world is going to be full of grief and sorrow no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try to make it a better place.
Evelyn, did you think about what I suggested the other day?
What, trying Eliza for myself?
Yeah, I'm not saying it'll magically fix things. I just think you might want to give it a try.
Well, we'll see if it has any luck.
Maybe I will. I don't know why I never did. Even when I was working on it, I never used it. It might have been too obvious to me what it was doing. Eliza is really simple at its core, you know? It just turns things around.
Mm-hmm.
It tries to reflect what the person says back at them, pretty much like the old Eliza. It's just a smoother version of an idea from half a century ago. Anything you've read that makes it sound fancier than that is just a bunch of academic jargon.
Oh yes, and I do love myself some good old jargon. Jargon that I can't comprehend, and it kind of takes away from the overall experience. Woo!
It's a mirror.
The thing I like about a mirror is that it has no agenda of its own. It just reflects.
Ray gets a distinct look in her eye.
Unmisted by love or dislike.
She turns back to me, a small but kind smile on her face.
Promise me you'll get help somehow, in some way. Okay, Evelyn?
Oh, we got a text! Alright, is it Soren wanted to talk to me about his VR headset dreams and his sad state of mind, or is it Nora, or... I would like it to be Nora, actually.
Sorry, I should answer this.
Alright, let's see who it is. Oh, god damn it. Not Raina. Not Raina. Oh, bloody hell. So, what did you think of transparency mode? I was given access to it rather fast, honestly. Sometimes the system makes interesting decisions. Perhaps it knows to trust you implicitly. Have you noticed how powerful it is? Eliza is now capable of rapidly analyzing the contents of a single device and accurately inferring the overall life situation of its owner. It will only improve from there as we add more sources, more patterns to tease out the connections between them all. It turns out anything is possible with enough data. Is that why you hoard it all? Ha! Yeah. Why we hoard up so much data on our people? I'm not sure I agree, honestly. I'm not on Raina's side, or Soren's. Let me amend my previous statement. Anything is possible with enough high-quality data. There's an unlimited quantity of uninteresting information, but a small amount of certain specific data can be of utmost incalculable. Mispronunciations are really biting my ass again. Value. Telling one from the other is the difficult part, don't you think? There's one more thing I'd like you to see. After that, I'll meet with you in person again. Oh, joy. I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear you talk once again. Wake me up.
Let me guess. Messaging with Rainer again?
Whew! Don't you know it?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt our conversation. I always feel like I have to answer him right away.
I would too. Are you kidding?
Yes.
I totally understand.
I guess I'm going to be headed downtown to meet with him again.
Summoned from on high.
Yup. And tumbling down low at this point.
I have something to ask, Evelyn, and it's okay if you say no, but whatever you end up getting involved in, I hope you'll stay in touch with me.
Oh. I think I will. You've been very supportive.
You're a really cool person, and well, that's all. I hope you find the future you want.
I hope so too. What would be a good way to phrase this? Me too, Ray. I really hope I do. I'm sure that I will, soon. We don't find futures, Ray. We create them. Would that be too egotistical to say something like this? Would it be too much? Too snobby or too snobby to have this quote? Because I almost feel like that's the feeling that I'm getting from it for some reason. We don't find, like, from a talks person who doesn't even care about the audience. You know what? I'm interested in what it means. Hopefully it doesn't contradict.
We don't find futures, Ray. We create them.
Ray nods but doesn't say anything. I notice her eyes are starting to become water. Oh! She really wants me to have a good life no matter what. Evelyn, you're a good friend. Oh, I mean, Evelyn, you've got a good friend. Keep close contact with her, no matter what. She turns away abruptly, heading back toward her office. I hope I didn't upset her somehow. I only hope that what I just said didn't upset anyone. Oh, we got something. 2 email messages. Oh, God. Soren. All right, Soren, what do you say? It begins. Venture Post exclusive. Eliza Creator raises cash from top VCs for hot new direct simulation startup. The man behind Skander's popular virtual constantly napping Eliza is up to something new, and top venture capital firms are listening. Apania. Apania is the new Seattle startup helmed by Dr. Soren Lloyd-Rose, the chief psychologist and project lead for Eliza at Skander. It has raised $26.2 million from investors including Wellspring Ventures, Son and Legohorn, and Simon Capital. Bay Area-based Wellspring invested in Apania via its Continuum Fund, which supports startups developing technology to support and improve mental wellness. We find Soren's unique brain-first approach to mental health extremely compelling. Walter, let me see if I can pronounce this name correctly, because I feel like I'm going to butcher it. Rukak? Ugh, I hope I did it justice. Partner at Wellspring told Venture Post. He's already redefined what it means to seek support for mental wellness once. We think we'll do it again. Upon isn't revealing details about this technology yet, but Lloyd Rose himself has said he would be revealing more details soon when he announces the venture of At One Mind 2.0 last month. Let's see if I can sound like Soren. The technology is real and working in prototype form already, he said. Okay, that sounded nothing like him. I am horrible at impersonations. Absolutely horrible. Oh, and this must be Raina's, senior administrative assistant. Evelyn, Raina would like to speak with you today. Again, I have scheduled a meeting for 4:35 p.m. today. As before, a car will come pick you up. Lovely. It could be a limo of all I know at this point. But I suppose... Let's look here. Maybe future Eliza counseling centers could point struggling people to community resources, local rent assistance programs, things like that. There has to be something we can do. I mean, that would be a good resource, if anything. Like, having that kind of access for some of our patients, especially if they are struggling financially, might be good, so they wouldn't go homeless at all. Something to see before I go to headquarters again. I wonder what Raina was talking about. And I wish I know more about the situation beforehand. Not that I could have changed anything. Yeah, it's tough. Like, there are always instances where I see homeless individuals with signs that they've written on, kind of going up and down the street to try and get some attention, to hopefully have people give them money. And oftentimes I always wonder, is giving money really all that I can do? Isn't there something else that could be possible? And then another question that it comes to the mind is, are you able to make it possible right now? Are you needing what they are seeking right now at this point? Like, do you actually have the resources or the time and dedication to help this individual? Because oftentimes you can feel extremely swamped. I feel like assisting at the root of the problem would take a lot of preparation. It isn't as simple as just giving someone maybe a $5 or $10. It's like something else needs to be accommodating in order to help someone in that horrible condition. Looks like I have one more transparency mode to do today. Oh, I wonder if it's for the woman, the artist. I'll get that out of the way before I meet Raina again. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got then in the meantime. So who do we have? Wait. Soren? Soren? Okay, I wasn't expecting Soren to be one of our options. What? All right, then. I didn't know Soren was a patient through here. That doesn't make any sense. Well, he certainly wasn't a patient of... I wasn't the proxy for Soren. Interesting. Well, now. But that's neat. All right, so let's see. Let's go through the emails. Oh, my word. I actually know someone with that same name. Oh, my word. Okay, let's read this. I think this might be important. Soren, the problem here is not that we think it impairs you. You've clearly demonstrated to us that whatever your process is working and generating great results. What we're concerned with is optics, really. How we would look to those on the outside if it were to become known that there is a drinking culture or something similar at Aponia. You know as well as we do how rumors and hearsay can spread out of control and ignite a firestorm on social media, which is something we are keen to avoid. I hear you about responsible use of alcohol and also about how most antidepressants don't even come close in terms of their immediate action. Believe me, I've been there myself. What Walter and I are saying is simply to be careful, to not be so caviar about this kind of thing, not only in the public sphere, reported conferences, etc., but in front of your now hires as well. Dawn. Okay. Anita. I'm not sure who this Anya. Why did I think it was Anita for a moment? Soren, we can do this one of two ways. We can either work together as suggest and stay professional colleagues forever. If you think you can really do that, I have my doubts. Or we can simply go our separate ways. There are plenty of places for us to carve out a space of our own in this industry without us running into each other much, despite what you like to say about destiny and threads of fate. I'm laying this out for you as a clear binary choice so you can make a concrete decision about it. So there is some difficulties here. Oh, this must be the son. He did say how his children hates him. No, Dad, just no. You're supposed to be the genius to develop all these great applications for mental health. Have you ever considered you might need a therapist yourself? Indeed. Dr. Lloyd Rose, I understand you have some concerns about the way your interview went at MSNBC last week. Reviewing the footage, I believe there are a few successful tactics we can deploy to mitigate the potential negatives and ensure you receive only the kind of attention you're interested in getting going forward. I am hoping that you might be able to take some time out of your, no doubt very busy schedule to sit down with us and solidify a strategic communications plan for you and Aponia, including key messages, reputation building activities, and executive media training. With a strong plan in place, there is far less chance of being ambushed by the media. The end goal will be for you to be able to trust us to manage your media profile and appearances so that you can concentrate on the hard work involved in being the brilliant, celebrated scientist and entrepreneur that you are. Hoping to hear back from you soon. So he's trying to get some public relations advice. And Jonathan. Dark Horse. That must be a username, I think. Hi, Dark Horse. Most people come to the seminar with a partner in order to practice alone with a model, and I think that is definitely the most valuable way to attend. There have been people on their own who have sat in on the session and found it worthwhile, but there is a big difference between watching the ties being done and practicing them on a real person. Another arrangement to consider is a 3-person group, where 2 riggers take turns practicing on a model if you are able to arrange that. To answer your second question, yes, you must bring your own rope. I recommend at least 2 15-inch ropes and 1 30-inch in order to complete all the ties we demonstrate. Hope that answers your questions. Alright, now let's look at the text messages. Ooh, Nora! Interesting. So he texted Nora. Your show was great. Just wanted to say. Hi, Soren. Thanks. Had a wild night. Not the wildest night I've ever had, but up there. Definitely feeling pain in muscles I didn't know I had. Yeah, we are getting older. Oh, that's not fair at all. I'm far older than you. Besides, you look fantastic. Your beauty has only grown since the days we worked together. Sorry if that's inappropriate. Lo, Soren. Frailer than I used to be, but the fire's never gone out. Still need to get out and do something. Bacchanarian? Oh, it's another new word. I don't think I've ever heard of this one yet either. Alright, let's see if I can. Let's see. I want to make sure that I spell it out correctly here. Am I frozen? Am I frozen and stiff? I almost feel like I'm frozen stiff whenever I have to look something up. B-A-C-C. Let's see. H-A. Here we go. So let's see here. Bacchanalian. Let's see. Definition. Characterized by or involving drunken revelry. No, revelry. Okay. I see. Okay. That makes sense. I can see that now. At least I somewhat do. From time to time. Yeah, I was a little surprised to see you then. I convinced Evelyn to come too, you know. Don't think she had gone otherwise. Ah, thanks. You're welcome. I know you fancy her. Fancy. Fancy! I've always... Though with fancy, I always fail to really distinguish the definition of something that is considered fancy. I know something fancy can be something elaborate or quite striking in its appearance, or something luxurious, but fancy, in terms of relationship, does that mean that they either have a close platonic bond or they share feelings that goes beyond a platonic relationship? You know, I probably should look that up now. I'm looking up so many words today. All right, let's see. Let's see. To believe without being absolutely sure or certain. I feel like you fancy her. It is, I mean, it is a, let's see here. To take a liking to want or desire. Does Nora have a crush on me? I mean, a part of me had that idea, but I guess I never really put it together. Maybe, you know how in some instances when you are playing a video game, reading a novel, or watching a movie or TV show, and you always have those shippings that don't really connect full wholeheartedly, and you basically just connect them because you think they look cute together? I have to admit, a part of me was thinking Nora and Evelyn look cute together, but I never thought that it would be somewhat confirmed. Or maybe my interpretation of the fancy might be different than what I'm leading on. It could be a different side of liking, like strong platonic relationship, of course. So maybe I'm reading a bit too much of it. Even so, if it does end up being that Nora has a fancy, like a strong romantic connection to Evelyn, that would be interesting to see how that develops. Well, maybe the next time I get in contact with her. Oh, wait, but that would go against confidentiality, though. Yeah, better not bring this up. Don't you? Sure I do. Everyone likes Evelyn. I haven't had any people really taking a dislike to my main character as of late, but, well, I don't know. That's kind of a bold statement. Not everyone likes me. Nikki, I miss you. I know you don't miss me. Oh, that's not true. I know not to trust words like that. Then why say anything? Because it's true. I miss you. I want to see you again. Well, you know how to find me. Yeah, I know. I'll schedule something again soon. Can't believe I do this. Sometimes I hate myself so much. Something tells me Nikki here is a sex worker, perhaps? That's my assumption. Because it looks like he is paying for this type of service in order to actually feel some romantic connection. And so that does mean he's attempting to connect with others here. Now, Sarah. Hey, how are you up to? I've always really admired you. I never told you that before it was true. You work with Raina and put up with them every day. Wait, is this the same Sarah that is the senior administrative assistant? That takes a lot of work, I know. Your talents are wasted in that job. You deserve so much more. Hi, Soren. Are you drunk? Maybe. I'm not lying, though. Don't you want more in life than to be someone's secretary? You're intelligent. Raina is not exactly the easy boss to work with. I'm sure you know that. I sure do. Let me take you out sometime. We can trade stories, war stories. I know I have a reputation, but that's what with people I don't respect. I respect you. It's different. Ask me again when you're sober. Okay, I will. This kind of makes me wonder, though. And I've never really been in this situation where I've known someone that has been intoxicated by alcohol. Can they text as well as this? I think something that would be, at least in my perspective, if someone is drunk, wouldn't they be a bit more sloppy with their texting or writing, or wouldn't they have trouble like composing, the proper spelling and grammar in some regards? I know he didn't put periods in it, but he did spell every word correctly. Maybe I'm just full of shit at this point. I'm not entirely sure. You around? So you ignore me. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I've been under a lot of stress. These business fucks are driving me crazy. I should have realized that they just grind you down. Not sure who this Andrea or Andrea is, but apparently they're ghosting him for some reason, but yep. This isn't a coincidence. It can't be. Yeah, I'm surprised myself. At the Skanda headquarters building, Rayna's assistant leads me into a different elevator than last time. Oh, am I going to a secret location? It's located at the end of a long corridor protected by multiple keycard swipes. Inside, the elevator smoothly ramps up speed as we stand silently. I kind of wish I could talk to this lady. Sarah, if I remember right. Ah, the same Sarah that Soren texted. But I'm not sure what I would say. Definitely not anything that you'll bring up within that conversation. No. She's not looking at me. She's looking off into the distance somehow, even though it's an elevator and the wall is right there. Elevator rides really are awkward, aren't they? Yep. I have the sense that if I tried to say something friendly, I'd be met with stony silence. Or if I asked a sincere question, she would deflect it. Oh, lovely. Is this your office, I take it, Rayna? Oh, you wanted to show off your fancy office. Look at that. Oh, you got a calligraphy poster on there. No, that's not calligraphy, is it? What is that? I forget the word for it. I don't think it's what I mentioned. It's failed to bloody get into my mind. But I know the technique. I just don't recall what it's called.
Would you like some tea?
Chamomile. I'm fine, let's just say.
I'm fine, thanks. Why did you show me Soren's phone?
Yeah. Because something tells me I'm highly doubting that Soren would actually go to Eliza to talk to a proxy. This must have been maybe to show me that Soren isn't exactly the best person to work with.
It's not a surprise anymore these days, is it?
Oh, lovely. You basically showed me. Wouldn't that be considered illegal to share that information to someone without the person's consent?
A man who enjoys society's respect behaves poorly in his private life? We accept that as common today. Maybe even uninteresting.
Okay, I'm seriously not gonna coincide with you anymore. That's quite dirty. I mean, true, Soren's idea is quite perplexing and I highly don't trust it, but you going this slow to try to get you into your side is just pitiful. Bloody hell.
Would you really be okay working with someone like him?
Honestly, I wouldn't be okay working with you either, if that's what you're trying to imply.
That was a huge violation of his privacy.
That damn right it was.
You really don't care about others.
That's true.
Privacy. Everyone's worried about privacy.
Here we go. Here comes the huge spiel on how people have to allow, the lack of privacy in order to get the simple fundamentals, the right things delivered to them. Here we go. I have an inkling that's what this is gonna be.
Skanda wouldn't be where it is today if our customers didn't trust us to protect their data.
Well, you certainly weren't trusting Soren with his data.
We employ most, if not all, of the top experts in cybersecurity. It's built into all of our products right from the beginning. Unlike our competitors. We do more to protect our data than anyone else.
You mean kind of like that data breach that happened recently?
That's not the case I'm worried about right now. I mean, misuse from the inside. For example, if someone wanted to keep tabs on a former employee who was starting a potential competitor.
Yeah, like Soren with that Palmia?
Oh, what if it was perfectly legal, due to multiple agreements that the good Dr. Lloyd Rose signed with us when he came here? Are you done questioning me like a tech journalist?
Do you watch my therapy sessions too?
Oh yeah, good question. Does he eavesdrop on those?
Do you read my email? My texts?
Oh yeah, true too.
No, I haven't done any of those things.
Yet.
How's your research into Eliza proxy use cases going? Any new insights to share?
Well, let's see. There's a lot of suffering in this world. I'm not sure it's really helping people. I think you could stand to treat your contract workers better. All of those are simple cases, but I feel like if I said this one on the top, it would just kind of go in with what he is thinking. Like, oh, Eliza can be the one can then basically decrease the suffering in all the world with its advanced technology and its lovely data collection. No.
I think you could stand to treat your contract workers better.
Have you felt underappreciated in the role of proxy? An interesting, if unintended, outcome of your research. I heard Soren gave you a demo of his direct stimulation machine. How's he doing now, all on his own?
You tell me!
You tell me.
Very funny, Evelyn.
Yeah, you tell me.
Let me ask you this. Do you find his vision compelling? A world free of suffering?
I am skeptical.
Skeptical.
By focusing on dreams, Soren is trying to defend his territory, the Western psychological tradition, chiefly Jung and his inheritors.
You don't think the field has anything to offer?
I'm surprised there weren't more choices with that. Like something more in the middle.
Not much, no. It's mostly unsubstantiated theories. Let's be honest. What has this field actually accomplished?
Oh, and what can you accomplish then, Rainer, if you are asking all of these intricate questions?
Soren used to try to argue with me about this. He would claim that traditional psychoanalysis has helped thousands or tens of thousands, even millions. I would never dispute that directly. Instead, I would only add that professional psychics and astrologers have helped millions too. Tarot cards help people all over the world every single day. That doesn't mean it's a science.
Let's look at the choices here before I come to the conclusion. But if it helps people, isn't it a good thing? See, I feel like the top one is always going to come into play for Rainer's case. Like, if I say this, he's just going to boast about something in particular that kind of downplays other fields. Psychology is more rigorous than you're making it out to be here. Seems rash to dismiss an entire field like that. Let's see. I think out of these options, I think these two probably would be the best, but which one would I go for? I think the second one.
Psychology is more rigorous than you're making it out to be here.
Yes, that's exactly what he'd say. Not only did he believe psychotherapy was worthwhile, he also thought the mind was fundamentally irreducible after a certain point. As if there was some undefinable, ineffable soul inside every person. It's all part of his silly, syncretic New Age belief system. Amazing he's held on to that for so long.
And you didn't seem to want to understand that more thoroughly? You don't seem like I remember the last time I've spoken to you, you didn't seem like the type of individual that would empathize with someone's position on why they feel this way. You would basically try to downplay it and maybe even insult and say it in a condescending tone how it's not so great or, ooh, that sounds so inviting, doesn't it?
I keep an open mind, but saying that something can't be represented with numbers requires a high burden of proof.
It's always about the analytics.
After all, numbers have been used to represent so very many things.
It's odd because I used to be one that was always involved, like as a child, with data. I always liked to collect it or just mark it down. But I'm glad I didn't take it into a profession because it seems like analytics in general would just make things less emotional and less human.
Consider the example we spoke about before. A poem. Could you evaluate a poem using numbers? The answer is, of course, yes. Poems are either good, mediocre, or bad. It's entirely possible to create a heuristic that reflects the difference. By aggregating a large enough sample size, we remove localized biases. It would work the same way Eliza does.
Yeah, an algorithm to evaluate poems. I don't think that would be something that I would want to basically rate poetry.
I think I might disagree, Rainer.
Don't tell me you're an essentialist too. Algorithms can evaluate poems, and eventually, algorithms will write poems.
And that's a scary thought. Where's the human emotion that comes into poetry, which is all about conveying that sincere brutality or however someone is feeling? Algorithms will probably just butcher it to hell and high water, not even succeeding in conveying what emotion they're trying to establish.
One day, algorithms will write better poems than humans ever have.
Woo! Honestly, I think that would take us several years for that to ever fully transpire. And even if that was the case, I still don't think they would have as good of a job as the human experience.
I know this sounds like a controversial opinion, Evelyn, but it's simply the truth.
Simply the truth, huh? It sounds to me it's more like an opinion for ya. Yeah, a very...
What would be the point of that?
It doesn't matter. There's no stopping it.
Oh.
If we don't take this step, others will. There are hundreds of labs working on the same or similar ideas. Everyone wants to be in this business. The business of recreating human thought in our own image. And at the end of the day, it's not about money. It's about power. Control.
Oh. Now I'm getting a much better idea in mind about what the kind of individual you are. Can I just chuck you out the window here? No, they'll probably charge me for murder. God damn it.
Rainer, do you ever get tired of this?
Yeah, that's a good question.
The constant drive to compete, to win.
No, I don't. This is what I do.
You never dream of just retiring somewhere and writing poetry.
Oh, there's no need for me to write poems.
Because I can have my algorithms write them for me. They know exactly what I'm feeling at this time. Oh, wait, hold on here. Ah. Hey, stop it. Working out some virtual monitoring at this time, and it's been kind of flickering on and off.
All beauty in this world is temporary, fleeting. That's the truth that underlies poetry and every other art.
Oh, great. Algorithm is going to make movies, make artwork, and every other creative endeavor. I can't wait for an algorithm to compose a actual orchestra or opera.
The pleasures of the senses are just small bubbles on top of a vast sea of forms, sensations, perceptions, thought, awareness. I'm telling you this because it's directly relevant to the Eliza project. Soren says he can induce you to dream things, dream anything. And maybe he can. But what comes next after that? What comes after having the power to experience the dream of anything you could possibly want? You're still just as trapped as you've always been, imprisoned by your own desires. Even if someone like Soren managed to create a world for himself, his own weaknesses and negative thoughts would ruin it. He would poison his own fantasy. His utopia would crumble as soon as he finished building it.
And I suppose your solution is the much more solid foundation.
Rainer, what are you trying to tell me?
Your option is the better option, of course.
What I'm trying to tell you is that what Soren is doing is not the answer.
Ooh.
A dream by itself isn't enough. Take a close look at the person who chases an end to suffering, and you'll see someone who suffers greatly.
I mean, yes, that is true. He mainly did say that he made that in project to specialize that he has been suffering. It did seem quite self-centered. Which one of these will I choose? Then why don't you build it yourself?
Then why don't you build it yourself?
What is your dream, Evelyn? What is it that you're working toward?
Just tell me what you want from me.
Oh, yes. Just cut to the case.
I've been
Chase.
very clear about it, haven't I? I'm offering you the opportunity to re-enter the field you pioneered at its very pinnacle.
Oh. To basically kickstart more of your lovely
I
utopia.
can build you an entirely new research lab, equipped and staffed however you want. You would have access to the world's top engineers and researchers as we continue to develop Eliza's core technologies and generalize them. You'd also be working with the world's most interesting data set.
Oh,
the
lovely.
input provided by the thousands of ordinary people who speak to Eliza every day. Soon, this generalized intelligence will be everywhere human beings are, hearing them, guiding them, living among them.
I wonder if Raina doesn't really care about what other people think. The ones that are actually providing the input within the data itself. Does he even care about the people he's helping through this technology?
You and Soren have more in common than you'd want to admit.
You think we're both grandiose? Soren's idea isn't grandiose at all. It's small and unimaginative.
I could say the same about your prospects.
Think about the vision here. General artificial intelligence, indistinguishable from human intelligence at first, and then surpassing it exponentially.
Okay.
It's nothing short of the creation of a new type of organism, a new type of life.
Oh, praying God, are we? Hoo-hoo-hoo. Well, then again, Soren's is kind of like playing God in a way to stimulate these dreams.
And you, Eliza, could be at the very center of it.
Eliza.
I mean, Evelyn.
Ha ha. All right. Now we're getting somewhere.
That was an interesting slip of the tongue.
It was. Ho ho ho, Raina, how are you gonna recover from that?
Stop it. The Eliza project occupies much of my mind.
Does it now? So much so that you can just let a simple slip? You don't really care about Evelyn at all. Even if you were to give her all the resources, her input into the whole project will probably be second to none in the end.
It clearly does.
Plus, the names are similar.
Because they both start with the letter E. E. What a nice counter argument there.
I'm starting to wonder why.
Yeah.
Evelyn, listen to me. This is the chance to lead a project that will change the world. It would be a development on the same order as the harnessing of electricity or the semiconductor.
Oh my word, you're comparing this prospect to those? Oh, you boastful. Most certainly boastful, because those are, especially electricity.
It would fundamentally transform society.
I'm not sure I want to transform society.
What? Do you like the way things are now? Lie back and let the sweep of history bury you if you want, Evelyn. Just know you'll never have a chance like this again.
Oh, yeah. A chance to change the world. Raina's words echo in my head for a long time. And is that what I want to do? All right, we're on the subway now. Oh, we got 2 text messages. Or, let's see, safety reminder. Now, let's see. Let's read this article here. All. Yesterday, there was a minor incident at the Belleville office. During the Eliza session, a client became agitated and began to shout angrily and verbally berate the proxy. The session was halted, security was called, and a man was escorted from the faculty. Luckily, without further incident. I want to give special kudos to Ray Bukhari, manager of the Bellevue office, whose fast action and people handling skills helped to resolve the situation quickly and quietly. Now, I wonder, because that's our Ray, right? That's the office we work for. I wonder which individual. Was it someone that I was working with? Now is a good time to remind everyone that as a service provider for mental wellness, we are under constant scrutiny from watchdog organizations and the media. It's not exactly fair, but one simple mistake is enough to generate an entire negative press cycle around our company. That is why it's of the utmost importance we deal with every single one of these situations with the professionalism demonstrated by Ray and her team yesterday. We are currently working on rolling out a series of training materials that will better prepare proxies to deal with clients such as these. In the meantime, if you're ever in doubt about your own safety during a counseling session, contact your manager immediately. Well, okay then. And mail. Oh. And look at that. Evelyn has scheduled an appointment with a proxy. This will be interesting. Alright then, let's look around here. She looks tired. I'm tired too. It's been a busy, difficult few weeks. I hope I come out of this with a way forward. She's swiping and tapping with a specific rhythm. Must be playing some kind of game. Like I am right now, except it's not on the phone. Same route, different reason. Feels strange. Alright, I think that's all the things that we can interact with, so let's continue. I can't believe I'm going to do this. Yep. Here we go. We are the ones being tested now. Let's see how this goes. Eliza does not intend to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you believe you are experiencing serious mental health issues, seek care from a licensed mental health provider. Protecting the privacy and security of your information is a priority to everyone at Skanda. Ooh! I was reverting in and out of there. You have agreed to the Skanda wellness terms and conditions, which governs how we use and share your data. Oh, yeah, that's right. She is 34. A linked Skanda wellness account was not found. You can link your Skanda wellness account later at the Skanda support portal. In order to get started, please help Eliza understand how you've been feeling the last week with this brief 7-question survey. I've been feeling down, depressed, or helpless. Yes, because I've been feeling tired. Oh yeah, these are the same questions you would ask whenever you have a doctor checkup, oftentimes. I don't think she's been having trouble concentrating. Yes. 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 Alright, here we go. It's the same room I used. I guess I just sit here and wait for my proxy to show up. I feel like I've been waiting a while. Hope the appointment actually got made. Here she comes. I think I've seen her around here before, but I don't know her name. I wonder if she recognizes me too.
Hello, Evelyn.
So, in this case then, isn't an actual human being here, or is this a hologram?
Hello? Did you find the place okay?
Oh, the same questions that I would
Yes,
ask.
I work here. Of course. It's been a windy morning, hasn't it?
Oh, yep. I see where they get the proxy thing. This right here. That light that flickers.
Yeah, I kind of like it when it's like that, honestly. The wind makes it feel like things are changing. Or about to change. So, what brings you here today?
Oh, here we go.
Well, I've been a proxy here for a while now. And, well, I guess I don't know what I expected. There's just so much suffering and pain in the world. There's the suffering we know about, the kind we see on the news. And then there's the suffering people undergo every day that's hidden. I never knew how much until I started doing this, seeing it all like this. And there's so little we can do for them. I feel like maybe I was really, really wrong. Like, I made a huge mistake. I wanted to create something that would help people, but... When I first designed the core of this system, I wanted everyone to have someone to talk to. Someone who would listen to them. I thought, sometimes that's all you need. Someone to listen. But now I'm worried what I've done hasn't helped at all. Maybe I've made everything worse. Clients are asking Eliza to solve things that are out of its ability to solve.
Yep, like we've seen in the past few chapters too, including today.
It's aggregating sensitive personal data, and the company that owns it wants to take it in strange directions. It's been 3 years since I left. I thought I was well enough now to come back into the world, but maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I made a bad choice trying to get involved again.
Why do you think you tried to get involved again?
I guess I needed to see it. I needed to see it operating, to see if it works, to see how it affects people. How it affects the people who come here for counseling and the people who act as proxies. Even though the proxy thing, that wasn't my idea. It was Soren's. I thought talking to a computer-generated avatar would be enough, but he insisted on it. He said clients would only really open up if there was another real human being in the room.
So it's not a hologram. Okay.
Someone to pretend to interact with.
Oh, I see.
I think he was right, but have we really solved anything? Now instead of 2 people in a room talking, we have 1 person and 1 proxy. It feels like less than it could be.
There's definitely the lack of human connection, honestly, and that is a sad realization. No offense to the proxy here.
What am I supposed to say to someone who feels such pain, anger, and disappointment?
I wonder if this is the individual that got agitated, because I remember him, he was the first client, and he was quite frantic.
A lot of the time, it's not even their fault. The world failed them somehow. And those emotions, they just get fed to this thing. They get ground up and turned into data and become a part of Eliza.
Yep.
If I had known things would turn out like this, I'm not sure I would have done it.
It sounds like you're regretting a choice you made in the past.
I feel like maybe I spent 10 years going in the wrong direction. I feel like all I've contributed in my life is a chess piece for Raynor to use in this grand game he's playing for the world. Maybe someone else could feel proud and say, I made that chess piece. But it doesn't matter, does it? Nobody cares about the individual pieces.
Yep, as we soon realize with Raynor.
Chess pieces are sacrificed in the name of enacting a strategy.
Oh, hello there, Bird203. Greetings and salutations to you. Welcome to the stream. Hope you'd been doing well. And I am not short. I am just projecting myself in a way that is not as cumbersome or janky on the other side, so I don't block up. If I was my real size, I would probably take up the entire layout, and we wouldn't want that to occur. But I hope you've been doing well. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. We were just busy getting evaluated about certain woes that we have enacted as being a part of conducting and making an AI counseling program that seems to be having its flaws.
If you want to win, you have to sacrifice. That's the design. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yep. Keep on talking.
Evelyn, imagine that you could have something that you wanted. What would you want?
Oh, yeah, see, these are the same questions. Muffin truck? You have a muffin truck? Within your... Do you have a muffin car, or are you just elaborating on the ways that you would want a muffin truck? Honestly, as long as it doesn't get to spoil quickly, I wouldn't mind. And it has good gas mileage, because gas prices and all. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind having a muffin truck. But then again, it'll probably spoil too quickly.
What would I want? Like, what would I want in life? What I want in life is...
Ooh, this is the most amount of selections that I've ever gotten. All right, so we're going to have to look at these really carefully. I'm a muffin truck? Truly, you do know the muffins will get dissolved into me, right? The muffins get absorbed in my consciousness. They're the reason why I'm not absorbing anything else that could be considered hazardous or dangerous. Muffins or any other sweets or junk food, they wouldn't be used for storage. They will be gone, like in a flash. Why am I making those cacking sounds? All right, So let me look at the options here. I don't know. To escape all this, to be loved, to be valued, success, power, control, to understand what's really going on, to enjoy what I can, to be at peace with myself, to be seen and heard, to excel at something, a family. You know, she had never mentioned something about a family, just a normal human life. Maybe some tea. Perhaps some tea. I'm not in any rush for it, though. I do have some water to keep myself hydrated. In fact, hold on one sec. Before I make this important decision, I should probably drink some water. So hold on. Gonna grab some water here real quick. There we go. That's more like it. There. Lovely. Okay. You know, some people, it can be so clear-cut as to what they want in life. Some people, they might say they want power. Some people it may come easily to them that they want control. Some people truly do want a family. That might be one of their life goals, even. But with Evelyn, I'm not sure. Yes, muffins can really get hard, especially any other sort of bakery items, especially if you don't eat them right away. You know, it's kind of hard for me to choose what Evelyn would want. Would it be ideal to say to be loved? You know what? I'm going to go with that. Something positive.
To be loved. Is that wrong? Or maybe I just wish I could feel connected to someone.
You know, this is kind of a struggle for myself. Oftentimes, whenever I reach out to someone, either in the real life as a human or online as a virtual half-blob VTuber, it can be really hard to connect. The social anxiety can really come into very strong implications. Like, for example, you want to reach out to someone within the community, but that person has way more followers than you do. I could say that some would feel extremely intimidated to reach out to them. Like, some may feel anxious. I know I've had some situations in which I want to speak with someone who has a much larger following or a base, and I ponder to myself, they wouldn't want to speak with me. They wouldn't want to, converse or discuss anything with the likes of someone with such primitive followers or follower counts or lack of any social media content or anything in general. All I can really say is I've been trying to fully come into grasp that, and I think I may have said this more often than usual, but oftentimes, if I wanted to beat out this social anxiety and try and reach out, the only thing you can really do in this case is just give it a chance. What if you don't get a response? At least by inquiring from someone, at least you know full in advance that you gave it a chance. You gave it your shot to reach out. And who knows? I know I've mentioned this in several other instances before too. It's not always ghosting that's the prime reason why someone doesn't respond back. Oftentimes, they could just be so busy with their lives that they don't have the time to read through all of their DMs. Sometimes it may be ADHD. And they have trouble trying to remember all the things that have just gone on. Or much more in details than that. I know that Twitter has had a few instances with notifications. But yeah, I've been most certainly, especially in the start of this year and hopefully going onward, trying to establish more connections. And I have actually gotten a few that might prove to hold such wonderful relationships. I don't know exactly if that would be the case, but at least I'm trying. At least I'm given an attempt instead of just panicking and being anxious about what if I do something horrible? What if I get dissed or something to that degree? Which, Thankfully, that has not been the case. A lot of the people that I have gotten into communication with are quite understanding. Some just say, I would rather be friends with those that I'm close to already, which is pretty understandable. If you notice a lot within the VTuber community right now, there are some individuals that have been called out recently, which I will not name because I personally don't have much experience with it, that turned out to be much more than they led on to be. And I like individuals that have honesty or transparency about them. And nowadays, with what's been unveiled, you feel much more anxious about connecting with other individuals. It can be scary to connect because you don't know. It requires a lot of trust to basically confide in someone that you met online. But then again, it can be the same thing within real life too. You might not know someone that is in a bar that you decided to get drinks at and someone wants to buy you one. You don't recall what that may transpire. And it's true, they're not hiding under a username perchance, but you don't know the full picture of an individual until you get to know them more, or you hear stories about them. And who knows, those stories could be fabricated because all you can do is trust in the individual and hope for the best. And thankfully, the individuals that I've gotten to know throughout a good amount of time as a VTuber have been, when I say trustworthy. And hopefully, I can fully initiate and still establish that trust. Because I don't like to think about what could happen if I find out someone that I'm close with hasn't been the greatest of individuals. I would like to approach them in some way, shape, or form to get their perspective on the situation and hope that they are being honest with me, because that's what you want. You want to basically confide and hope for the best with this individual. You want to believe them. But sometimes it can be hard to really, what's the right word to basically, to concur with what's going on until you know exactly. I wouldn't want to basically disavow any relationship with a friend who might happen to be in hot water, but I also don't want to just completely believe a friend until I know the full picture. Drama on social media for certain can be very toxic, especially if they're not willing to see the other way around it, without asking questions, without really getting into the heart of something, without just being so blinded to have their own beliefs kind of cloud up their judgment. Wow, this rant just basically came out of something to be loved. All I'm saying is, while it can be very dangerous and maybe arduous even to go the extra mile to form connections, when you do take that chance, even if you don't concur with everything that they may agree with or have beliefs in, even if you may not share all of the same interests, because that's always going to be possible, if you are able to initiate good chemistry with them, if you can combine with one another without feeling fearful about them taking advantage of you in any way, shape, or form, like gaslighting or any sort of other toxic behavior, if you're able to fully combine and share such a grand connection, it doesn't matter if it's in real life or online. If that person happens to be in a whole different country or in the same country as your own, but in a different state or even in the same state. When you find that wonderful individual, it doesn't matter if the follower count is much lower than yours or much higher. It doesn't matter if they are popular with so many people. It doesn't matter what the quality of your talents are compared to theirs. That's a buddy you want to keep. that is an individual that you want to hang on to. And that's the reason why it's always good to, doubt the anxieties in your mind, question them on a continuous basis, even when they feel like they might be onto something. Question the anxiety that dwells deep within, especially if you have anxiety ulcers. Like, for example, I can't do this. What if they hate me? And just question to yourself, how do you know that they're going to hate you? And then you might have something else in mind. Well, because I had a bad history of, keeping friendships. It's like, well, why in this case do you think this friendship is going to falter? You haven't done anything yet that could be horrendous. It's these simple steps that you ask yourself. Like, oh, I'm a bad person. Or you could just ask or inquire, what have you done recently that is considered bad? It's all those questions that come into fruition that kind of helps you in the right direction. Of course, there are other ways that can help alleviate the anxiety issues that come into play, but of course, it's always good to hold that confidence in oneself, question all of the anxiety that dwells in your mind, even if it may prove to be extremely difficult, which it can be. But know that, there are others who also have the same sort of struggles. And sometimes it's good to confide with them if they're comfortable with it, to have a lending ear, to empathize. Yay! Good old talk. I don't know if this struck a chord with anyone. It almost felt like I was rambling on for several minutes at a time. I don't know if this will fully feel identifiable to any individual that happen to be watching this now or watch it at a later point. And who knows? I could be counter-argued with someone on something that I may have phrased, which I don't mind hearing a different perspective. Hopefully I'm not so insecure to seek a different opinion. It's all about empathy, knowing their perspective. And hopefully in the meantime, I will, start to realize that the friendships along the way, even if they are platonic and nothing romantic, are the ones where I am loved. I think I am. I've had a lot of people, whether they be family, friends in real life, or friends in the virtual space, the virtual vtuber community. I do hope that they do love me. And oftentimes I feel like they do, even if they may not say it. All right, let's continue.
Even when I talk to people, I feel like I just don't connect, no matter what I do. I think maybe that's the real problem. I can't have a connection to anyone.
Why do you think you can't have a connection with anyone?
Oh.
Because it's the way I am. It's the way I've always been. I can't seem to get people to see me, or I can't let them see me, or people look at me and they see something there, but it's not me.
Oh. Ooh, that was the dinging of the bells. Ooh, had something on my side there.
I would know what the real me was. I don't even know who I am or where I come from. My parents were never together. My father moved back to Japan right after I was born.
Oh, so she's part Japanese then.
I have no memory of him, no knowledge of him. I've never spoken to him. I don't know if he remembers I exist, or if he forgot, or if he wants to forget. He has his own family there now, so I'm just a thing that happened once. I was alone a lot, and I got used to being alone, and I got used to the idea of being alone, and now I can't break away. I've been trying. I speak with people, I hang out.
Yeah, I definitely hung out with Ray and with Nora, even with Soren and Rainer. Even if you don't agree with their ideas, that's most certainly true. She is trying.
I don't know if it's working.
Is there someone with whom you feel like your communication could work?
Someone I can communicate with. Well,
I mean, I feel like the top ones here are ones that I can definitely communicate with. Well, let's go with Nora.
there's Nora. She's really talented and works really hard. She has so much to bring to the world, so much beauty and joy. I see what she does, and I want to cheer her on as she makes incredible new things. I hope she knows how amazing she is.
Interesting. Evelyn, I'm going to suggest you try a program called Virtual Amphitheater.
Oh, no, I'm getting hands-on. I think this is the first time I got in this suggestion. Well, just as a proxy and as the person.
It may help you feel more confident about presenting yourself in public. You can find it inside the Skanda Wellness app on your phone.
Well, maybe I can try it out after this appointment.
Try it for about 20 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week.
Sure.
We hope to see you back soon, Evelyn. Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner. Goodbye.
Bye.
Can I leave a review? You know what? I'll go ahead and add a tip. We'll go 3 stars. There we go. I don't know how I feel. Let's see. Who is important to you? Okay, this is a nice scenery. I like how the snow is descending to the ground. I like this one ramen shop, I think it is. Just steaming up, providing some warmth. I like the company that's being brought up. I like this cute little cat over here. Quite cute, quite cute. I can't tell if I feel better or worse or anything. I just want to lie down. Forever. Oof. That is a feeling I think a lot of individuals can sympathize with. Something occurred to me. Oh, this is the lead engineer. Eliza is a little bit of computer code attached to a corpus made from the thousands of unhappy people who pour their miseries into it. It makes her a kind of god or spirit, doesn't it? A modern machine god that the people pray to alleviate their pain. Are you okay? Sorry. I like having someone I can talk to about these thoughts. I thought Skanda would be filled with interesting people, but most of them are pretty boring. Maybe Raina wouldn't mind talking about that kind of thing because he likes his data. He likes big thoughts about the past and future of humanity. Yeah, but he's my boss. I need to be professional around him. When I hang out with people my age, it's just money, money, ambition. Get the best job, best house, best partner. We all started racing to normal adult life as soon as we could. Lately doing well by that measure. In charge of programs strategically important as Eliza at your age. Yeah, he's young. Maybe so. I took this job for the opportunity, but I don't know. I feel like it can't be the only thing. There's something more to life, isn't there? I am the wrong person to ask that. Even if anyone wouldn't, it's not the kind of question I could answer for you. That's true. We can't really guide people. Haha, yeah, I understand. Maybe you could talk to someone about this, someone qualified. I just did an actual Eliza session for the first time. Ooh. Yeah, did it help? I'm still deciding. Yeah, I could probably be dog food in all of our apps. Eliza on the worst of them too. You could be what? I've never heard the phrase dog fooding. Eat your own dog food? You never heard that one? It means use your own products. Now that I think about it, it's a weird phrase. Yeah, it makes me wonder. I might need to try something. What do you mean? Experiment. Not something bad, is it? I hope you learned something. Whatever it is you plan to do. Chapter 6. I wonder if I still want to continue. It's only been a little over 2 hours. I honestly want to continue this, honestly. Let's see how long this chapter takes us. Normally I do a chapter each day. I stream on Tuesdays, but I'm invested. And since there's still a bit of time going, I think I want to continue. I want to learn more. I want to see how what Evelyn decides to experiment with. Damien. They said Eliza got a well with me, and I assumed it had something to do with my design in action, something like that. But Eliza is yours as much as it is mine, isn't it? We encode ourselves into what we make, our ideas, our values, our sense of presence. So I wonder if it isn't you in there somehow, sensing me, watching me. I shouldn't entertain notions like this, it's nonsense. Somehow Erlen got me thinking along these mystical lines.
Damien, is this what you wanted? It seems so far from the dream you once shared with me. I'm sorry I couldn't make Eliza what it should have been. I'm sorry I was weak and dropped off the project after you. But I just couldn't go on. I couldn't see the point. Do you understand?
I'm sure he does.
Of course you understand. You know what that's like as well as anyone. If I'd stayed, maybe I could have steered things in a different direction. As it is, I feel like I let you down.
It's almost like she is at his tombstone since Damien did die.
Want to know something funny? I used to think that at a certain point Eliza would be finished, more or less. And then after that, things would calm down and I would be happy. I thought, I just need to get through this project, and after that, my life's problems will go away on their own. Of course, I had no idea it doesn't work that way. None of us knew that.
Indeed. It's not as simplistic.
Goodbye, Damien.
Oh. Is she actually turning away from Eliza?
Goodbye.
Okay.
I'm tired of having thoughts.
Oh, now we're back in... Oh, it's Maya Leads. This is the one that we had transparency mode on. So we're jumping right into it.
I've been daydreaming about getting rid of everything I own and becoming a nomad.
Oh. Yeah, nomad can be a very interesting life if you partake in it. But will that be the actual solution that you want to go with? Because that can be tough.
Just wandering the country with a sketchbook or something. I think mostly I need to get out of this city. Something about it isn't agreeing with me. Like there's this undercurrent of need that's just making me anxious. It's like everyone's got some kind of angle, you know, some kind of result they're hoping to get. And they look at you only as far as you can help them get what they want. And if you can't, well, then they don't bother with you. So what if I just left, you know?
Well, running away from your problems can most certainly help to distinguish some things, but it might not be the solution that you're looking for. Like you're only running away from the problem itself and not dealing with it head on. Because it won't necessarily go away just like that for some cases.
I mean, it'd be pretty easy. I don't have a life or any relationships here, despite my efforts to find them.
Ah. All right. So this must be the experiment she was talking about. Looks like she initiated more choices. So which one do I go with?
It sounds like you think your attempts to achieve your goals were unsuccessful.
Yeah, I mean, they were. I had this idea, right, that I would work hard and people would notice my work and I'd get opportunities, and from there I could scrape some kind of career together. And then with that said, I would sort of just magically obtain the rest of the things in a complete life. A home, relationship, family, So I did the work. I put in the work, and nothing really happened. So why did I work so hard for so long for people to not give a shit? Fuck.
That can be frustrating, most certainly.
Every night I sat and cried because people ignored me. Like they went out of their way to ignore me and praise others. So I think maybe I'm just bad at it. Maybe I'm just not meant for this. Everyone says you have to stick to it, just keep at it, but how can they be so relentlessly positive? To me, it just sounds like advising someone to keep bashing their head against a wall.
That could be a way to put it.
Why keep doing something if it's clearly not working?
It's like the definition of an insanity, expecting something different to change when you do the same thing over and over again.
Making things was all I wanted to do. I don't know what I'll do if I can't do that. But if there's no reason for it, the idea that maybe I should give up. I've been sitting with that the last few weeks. I don't have any qualities of the successful independent artist.
Okay, what qualities are those? Except that you do. You totally do.
Except that you do. You totally do.
I mean, I'd love to think so, but what are they? People just don't seem to like me or my art very much. And I'm bad at knowing what people want to see. I don't have a fallback income or a family to support me. Those are real disadvantages, you know? It gets overwhelming sometimes. Eliza, are you just gonna tell me to stick to it no matter what? Like one of those unbearably perky artists famous on social media?
Honestly, sometimes you have to try something new.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm in that headspace right now for sure. I think, I had this really fixed idea of what success was supposed to look like. I tortured myself every day wondering why I couldn't get the traction others were getting. Now, I'm beginning to realize that I can either stay mad at everything forever, or I can move on.
I'm loving that she's coming to this revelation. After all of these sessions in which she has been really frustrated with how her career was going, with all of these big shots, not giving any shits about her creative endeavors, to come to this realization now that we're going beyond the proxy response is motivating. And also 69. Nice.
I hate that this is true, but I want these thoughts to stop haunting me everywhere I go. I want to get on with my life, moving on. I think that's the more healthy thing in the end. It's still painful though.
You know what? I'm going with this. I don't care if I'm going beyond the proxy script.
Giving up on a goal you really wanted is painful, even if it's ultimately for the better.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know if giving up is the right term. I mean, I don't want to think of it like that. It's more like, I'm resetting, maybe.
That's a good way to go about it. I like that term.
Like when you're trapped in a maze and you find a dead end, right? Then you have to turn around and hope you find a better way. There's this game I've been playing on my phone. It's a solitaire game that's weirdly hard.
Oh, the one that I've been playing that I actually beat on all difficulties. Yeah, it can be tricky.
I don't even know if I like it, but I keep playing it for some reason.
Yes! The feeling's mutual!
I get stuck a lot, and I've just been resetting it because I'm not good enough to think that far ahead all the time.
Yeah, it is a game that basically wants you to ponder on your moves quite diligently.
I mean, that's a random thought, but it's kind of how I feel right now. If something isn't working, then you have to reevaluate it and maybe try it again, maybe come at it from a different angle. So, yeah, teaching could be fun. I like the idea of teaching, but I was afraid to think about it too much because I was chasing something else and I didn't want to settle for just being a teacher.
Yeah, teaching can have some drawbacks. I know that for some teachers. They're not getting paid enough for what they do.
Which is silly. I know that on some level, but I had that fear. I wanted to be successful first, and then all the other things could happen later.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you're working your way through it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that takes time. Believe me, I know.
Huh, you're not the computer program right now, are you? It's nice to talk to someone you didn't know before and just talk.
Yeah. So, looks like this was the experiment she was toying around with. To try to go with an emotional connection rather than an automated response that the proxy is telling you to do. And it seems like it's working way better than what we have been doing all this time. Even though we're probably gonna get in trouble with it, I feel like we really are making a good step. At least for her.
It's like, when you talk to your stylist or the bartender or something, except that, I ended up sharing way more than I usually do. Thanks for listening to me. I'm sure it's been annoying to hear me complain about how I'm not successful yet every single week. Oh my god, will this bitch ever shut up? You ever think that? I think it all the time, listening to myself. But I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Good for you, Maya. Good for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, everything okay? When the proxy doesn't follow their prompts, they get an alert. I assume it's some kind of experiment you're doing. Something like that, yeah. It's going to be bad for your rating. If you know not following the prompts, you might be disqualified in 1 or 2 more sessions. But I'm sure you know that this is research you're doing. I won't be able to reset your account if you mess it up, but you talk to Reiner, so I'm sure you can get it reinstated once you're finished. Just don't deliberately say something harmful. Well, I don't think so. Thanks, Ray. All right, let's keep doing. Let's keep doing it. I think I'm on the right direction, even if it decreases my proxy rating. I'm honestly feeling like they are benefiting more from my, the human interaction than listening to some randomly generated proxy response. This is not feeling. Should I keep going? Hey, want to hang out? Sure. Are you okay? Maybe. Just thinking about stuff. Aww. It's difficult to see you like this, sad and tortured. I want you to be happy. You know what I think you should do? Say extremely fuck off to all of those corporate shits. And then you can be free totally and completely. Fly away, Evie. Evelyn as an Evie? I can't even do the Evie noise. Evie? Are you high right now? Well, we did have a high session not too long ago. Fly away into a world where you can make your own rules. This is very serious. It is the only way to get what you want. Nobody will simply give it to you. You must carve it out for yourself. Create in my future like I mentioned. This is what I've been saying. Let me know if you can make it. Sure. All right. Here we go.
Of course, you're dying to know how this sad little love triangle turned out.
Oh, it's you again, Haruman. Yes.
Well, I suppose it wasn't technically a love triangle. More like I accidentally cheated on my girlfriend because I was smitten with another woman in my class.
Mm-hmm.
Doom. Okay? Doom. Absolute destruction. She destroyed me. But it's not her fault. It's mine. I wanted it, after all. Like a moth to a flame. Sylvia, she... I can't not think of her. Every day. Every night. I miss her. I miss her so dearly. These are very unoriginal, cliched sentiments, but I can't get away from them. I suppose I've neglected to tell you any of the intervening events. So to be brief, Liz found out on her own about what happened, broke up with me before I could explain myself, and then Sylvia apparently lost interest in me as well.
So you're basically single now.
So, there you have it. I'm finished. Finito. A nice, pat tragic story. Open and close. Please applaud now.
I'm not gonna applaud. That's what Jeb Bush would say when he's applauding.
No applause? Fine. Anyway, it's fine. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'm fine.
It doesn't. When you say that you're fine so numerous times in a row, things are not fine. Things are not so good.
You don't sound fine.
No, of course not. I'm doing extremely badly if you hadn't noticed. That's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you expect me to come here and tell you everything's fine?
No. Then why do you initiate that everything's fine then?
Sometimes I think you're smart for a computer, but other times I question you.
Let's see if you can focus on the things that you can change right now, not the things you can't.
I don't believe there's anything I can change. I've already sealed my fate. My Perseus comes to kill me, no matter what I do to try to escape. How do I become someone who's not me? Someone who's not a caricature of a young man who has a needy, pathetic liaison and then obsesses about it for the rest of his life. I hate myself. I can't go down that path. I would rather die than be one of those men who wallows around in it. There's a professor in my department like that who always wants to talk about his adventurism from decades ago.
Oh, really?
It's pathetic. We all mock him behind his back. I know I need to stop myself from becoming him, but I'm worried I already have.
For the moment, let's say you already have. Now what?
Well, then I expect I would simply follow the model of a man like him. Write a couple of bad novels, get tenure, and take up space in the English department for the rest of my natural life.
It doesn't sound like you're enthusiastic about that venture, though.
Maybe that's not so bad. Maybe that's the most I can hope for from this absurd world. That's a terrible thought. I have to be better than this, don't I? If there was just some way I could get over her... there must be a way, isn't there? How can one person have scrambled my brain so thoroughly? I've been run ragged. I've been dashed to pieces. Sylvia. Oh, I could count the hours I spent closely interacting with her. Probably not even that many in total. But those hours have seared themselves into my brain so irrevocably that I am a completely different person now. A new man. A man built with suffering at his core.
Well, it's a good thing that your heart rate is going down, most certainly.
Perhaps you could prescribe me a draft of the Nepenthe, the great potion of forgetfulness.
Oh, clever.
Wouldn't it be nicer if I could just erase everything from the very beginning of it all?
I mean...
Okay, I think I need to say something to you that you might not want to hear. Maybe you could work to decenter yourself from this story just a little. How do you think Liz felt? How do you think Sylvia felt? You've given no indication you've thought from either of their perspectives at all. It's just you, your story, your suffering. Try stepping away from that. None of us exists in a vacuum. Do you understand?
This is odd. Is that really you? I mean, yes, it's true. I should probably think about something other than myself.
Yep, that's always good. The world doesn't just revolve around you, it revolves around so many other individuals that are a part of the world, and you're not the center of it all, so...
That seems like something impossible, since as far as I know empirically, the only generator of thought is me.
Oh, that's pompous.
But you're right. I should find a way to get out of myself. Get beside myself. Ecstasis. Yes. I'll pursue transformative experiences. Surge forward into the unknown. Good. Yes, thank you.
And your heart rate has gone down.
Odd, I know, but good. Thank you.
Evelyn, would you like to visit again? I'm really busy. I'm really busy. Just interested to get a read on your current thinking, and I can update you on the latest on my side. Things are moving very, very fast. You can let me know. Okay. Sounds like I won't be able to put this off for much longer. I'll have to make a read decision soon. You're playing the dangerous game. Oh, he's getting... Ha ha! He is getting suspicious there. So you are keeping tabs on me. I could easily have you permanently banned and all of your contributions light as corpus retroactively deleted. You know that, of course. For now, I'm interested in the results of your creativity. What if clients report much higher levels of satisfaction when you win it like this? Then you have a lot of work to do. Then maybe this project is... We'll see. Regardless, you managed quite a feat. If you had simply asked for your old job back at 3 years ago, I'm not sure I would have given it to you. As it is, your unpredictability forced me to pay close attention in order to understand your actions. And that led me to be far more interested in getting you to return to the company than I would have otherwise. Was that a deliberate strategy on your part? You did say I was a statistical outlier. Indeed.
I just feel stuck.
Oh, this is the one about him being a possible father.
You know, it's the same situation. My wife is in her 3rd trimester now, so it's all about the baby. All baby, all the time.
Yep.
It's really expensive. I had no idea.
It is quite the luxurious thing that you have to partake in order to make sure the baby is accounted for. You have to really make sure you balance your budget in order to accommodate that little bundle of joy once it's born.
Crib, stroller, car seat, bottles, onesies, on and on and on. And I'm like, I think maybe Selena's parents hate me. I'm not even sure if she likes me right now. This whole having a kid thing, it's ruined everything.
What?
What did you used to have that was ruined?
A normal, quiet life, ambiguity. Having the kid forced me to face some things I was putting off thinking about. A couple days ago, I tried to have a talk with Selena about some of the things I was worried about. It didn't go so well. I don't know what I was thinking. She started to cry and told her parents, and now I have 2 sets of parents wondering if I'm up for this. But I'm fine. I just said some thoughts around who I am. That's all. Just some thoughts.
Doesn't sound.
This is not a time for you to be selfish.
Man, I guess that can. Having this mindset can really definitely lead people into have some doubts, most certainly.
She said I should have been more honest when we first started dating. As if I knew exactly who I was and I could warn everyone about that. I still don't know who I am. If I look back, I can see I always suspected that I wasn't really the type to settle down with a wife and kids. Actually, I was prepared to have a life just by myself. It was difficult to imagine others would accept me, but then I met Selena, and she was cool, you know? I went out with her, and we started a relationship, and things seemed good. And I wanted her to stay with me, so maybe I didn't reveal enough. But it's not like I knew for sure then, you know? I really didn't. I thought things would be okay as long as I went down the path I was supposed to be on, so...
Oh, yes.
The relationship kept moving forward, one thing led to another, and then I got married to her. It was like I was on autopilot.
So you felt... It seems like he felt like he didn't have control of the circumstances once he got married.
It's possible I thought I could ignore the other stuff, and, I don't know, eventually it would go away.
What are the parts you thought you could ignore?
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh.
I just have this side to me that I haven't told anyone about, that's all. And I've been feeling that side stronger than ever. I don't know why. I wish I could stop it. It's the worst timing possible. I can't do this, you know, but I have to. I have to. I can't believe I've gotten myself into this situation. I pretended to be a normal person for her sake. I wish I hadn't been so good at pretending.
Really? I wonder if this is having to do with his actual sexuality. Maybe he is much more than just heterosexual.
What would happen if you didn't pretend anymore?
Well, then I would just be whoever I felt like. I would be someone else. I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now. I wouldn't be ruining all these lives. Selena's life, her child's life, our parents' lives. It's not their fault they got stuck with me. I'm the one bringing it all down. How did I let this happen? I'm a shitty person.
I understand you're worried about the harm you might cause others, but do you really think this is the best way to cause less harm for everyone?
I can't think of another way. The problem here is me. It's so obvious. If I were just normal, you know, a normal guy.
What is normal nowadays? Normal being confining to society as a whole? Especially men that don't really have the option to feel anything, to express how they are feeling deep inside? honestly, yeah, as someone who wants to showcase, be vulnerable with other individuals so people are aware how I'm feeling, it's good for the mental health, and that doesn't seem like, in your case, healthy at all.
Why can't I just be a normal guy? Whatever I want personally just doesn't matter here, you know? I have a family to protect now. That has to take priority over everything else.
And you'll continue to suffer?
Well, yeah, that's what men do.
Oh, that stereotype. That's what men do. Men shouldn't have to suffer. They shouldn't just basically feel silent in this case. They shouldn't just bottle it up inside and say they're okay when they're really not. They need to inform others of how they feel.
I made a promise, and now I have a responsibility. Society only works because people accept responsibility and follow through on their promises. If everyone just did what they wanted to all the time, the world would collapse. It would be a disaster. We all want things we shouldn't actually have. That's why I need to reject these other voices and stay on the right path.
Even if it means it costing you your own health?
I'm going to be good, and I'm going to stay good. I won't let all these people's lives be thrown into chaos because of my selfishness. I owe it to them to be the man I'm supposed to be. I'm not about to let anyone down because of some noise in my brain.
And you're sure you'll be able to keep ignoring what's bothering you?
Well, I have to. I have no choice. I'm already in trouble for making an attempt to talk about it, so I made the mistake once. But I think Selena and her family are willing to pretend it never happened.
For how long, though?
And as long as it never happens again, and as long as we just move on like everything's normal. Maybe if you can prescribe me something to, I don't know, make me feel better about all this. Make me okay with the way things are, the way they need to be.
Prescription drugs shouldn't be the exact reason why you... I'm reverting to and fro again. It's like I'm losing my connection with my unconscious body, or my unconscious body wants to wake up.
It sounds like you're in a very difficult place right now. You've decided to bury something about yourself that you know is true. Something that can't be revealed even to your closest family members. Look, this isn't Eliza talking, it's me, the person in front of you. And I'm not supposed to talk to you like this, but I just want to say, consider the cost, please. I understand why pretending might seem like your only option. And who's to say, maybe you will be able to live successfully by keeping part of yourself hidden. But there will be a cost, not only to yourself, which you seem determined to pay, but to your future family, too.
Yes, to your wife, to your soon-to-be-born child. What will happen if you continue to ignore it and it goes unchecked?
I've seen firsthand the way parents can turn an inability to face themselves into trauma for their children.
That is true. That is definitely true.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what I can do. Thanks for telling me what you really think, at least. Even though it makes things more complicated. I was hoping I would just get your bullshit answer and I would go on, but now you've gone and said some stuff that really...
Merely makes you ponder, doesn't it?
Look, I don't know you, but I appreciate you trying to help. I don't think anyone really can, but... Are you gonna be okay doing this?
I'll probably get fired. It's okay, though. Don't worry about me. Think about yourself. Think about the future. There might be more options than you think.
Well then. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got. Evelyn Ishino Adre, you may be deactivated as an Eliza proxy soon. You have incurred 2 infractions on your Eliza proxy account for the following deviations. Deviated from provided Eliza script. Further infractions may result in the deactivation of your account and loss your ability to work as a proxy for Eliza. Up, and look at that. We have been deactivated. Oh, what's this? Allison Sofina. Apologies in advance for the awkwardness here. I'm not even sure I have the right email address, but anyway, here's goes. Dear Evelyn, several years ago you came and visited Professor Ralston's class to describe the research work you were doing at Skanda. I was in that class, and of all the guest speakers we had, your words struck a deep chord with me. The moment you explained what drove you to create your listening machines, as you called them at the time, I finally knew what I was going to do with my life. I was a junior then, and now I'm a grad student at the UV Reality Lab, studying ways we can infer contextual information at the sentence level. It's small-scale stuff and nothing compared to what you were doing, but the hope of contributing in my own, however limited, way is what keeps me motivated throughout the hardships. Ever since I heard you left Skanda and went off the grind a little while ago, I often wondered what happened to you. I thought about writing to you a number of times, but every time I started a draft, I would eventually stop because I thought I might be bothering you when clearly you wanted to leave everything behind. I finally woke up the nerve this afternoon after a group of high school students came through the lab on a tour. Speaking to the kids, I realized that each of us pays forward our outreach, linking us in this chain that stretches backward and forward in time. That's why it's so important to me to be able to express my appreciation. You inspired me, and you continue to do so. Thank you. This is the path I should take for myself, going in my own direction, helping in any way I can, and not from such a corporate entity. P.S. No need to reply. I'm sure you're either still off the grind, or else you're super busy on some secret amazing new project. Well, hopefully it's the latter. Alright. Deviating from the Eliza script. How do I feel about this? I'm not used to being rebellious. I wonder what happens now. Alright. We are no longer a proxy. We have gone too far from deviating from the script. It's time to turn in my key and bags. Nora asked if we could hang out again. Soren also wanted to meet up. Honestly, I could probably ask Ray if I could visit her place again too. I could even tell Reiner I wanted to speak with him again, even though I doubt he would take me up for it. I don't have enough social energy for all of them, which is valid, is a good, valid reason. I'll pick one person to meet up with again. Nora. I'll hang out with Nora. I visited Nora at her place again. Naturally, the conversation drifted to synthesizers, even though I still don't know anything about them.
You know what I wish?
What do you wish, Nora?
I wish Elisa's made a rack mount version of the Andromeda.
What's this you're talking about?
Evelyn is having some excitement in her voice. I love it.
Sorry. The Andromeda was like a synth that was like, just this real beast, you know? 16 voices with analog oscillators, analog filters.
Go on.
How can I describe it? It has this great, fat American sound. Oh, I love it so much. But the keyboard is heavy and hard to carry around. So, I wish they put it in a box. Don't look at me like that, yes? This is what I do all day.
Uh-huh.
I stay inside my flat, buried in my synths and techno toys. To be honest, it's been a strange feeling lately. Like, wow, this is really what I do for my living.
And as long as you're having a lot of fun, might as well go with it.
I don't get invited to attend events and give talks much anymore. The industry moved on. They mostly ignore me now. The people I used to know, they don't stay in contact. I'm not useful to know anymore. It's like the establishment is a big bus pulling away from me, and I'm standing by the side of the street watching it drive away. But you know, I'm happy with this. I don't have to worry if someone is friends with me just because I work at Skanda. I don't feel this weird, oppressive hierarchy where people try to figure out where they are relative to you on a ladder when they first meet you. It's nice to be free of that, you know? I don't hold power anymore. I would never go back. Not to Skanda or any other big tech place. Not for any amount of money.
I'm glad you found a situation you like. I need to do the same for myself.
You could join me. I want to make something big. A great big work of art, you know?
What could I provide, though?
I don't quite know what it's going to be yet, but I've got the ideas running around. Evelyn, what if we work together on it? I feel like we could accomplish a lot working together, no? Well, you don't need silly guys like Soren or Rainer.
Mm-hmm.
We should be building amazing things for ourselves, not for anyone else.
Okay. Now, how would I be able to contribute to this? Because as it seems here, Evelyn doesn't really know a whole lot about synthesizers or any of the electronic music wave. You know what? Let's take an edge.
Yeah, I think maybe we should.
Right? It's a perfect match. Maybe we can make an installation. I have a friend looking for something to do with this warehouse space in Sodo that would be perfect for some kind of location-based experience. Or maybe I could make music, and you could come up with a visual engine that we could perform together. We'd have to come up with a band name.
Oh, yes. I wonder what the band name would be.
Oh, wait. I just had an incredible idea. Hold on. Okay, listen to this. What if we created an open source version of the Eliza core?
So people are... Because actually people can actually utilize and then implement and construct it in their own way, maybe.
Get that software into the hands of the people where it belongs, not owned and controlled by a big company.
Would that be legal, though?
That might make Rainer angry. Wouldn't that be great? Maybe the Humanitarian Software Foundation would help us. Couldn't you see them getting on board with this idea?
That's an interesting thought.
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn, being around you is really nice.
You fancy me?
You make me feel so calm, like everything is going to be okay.
You know, it's odd. Evelyn and I have a few in common. And I think one other thing that I have personally been told with other individuals is that I'm calming to be around. That I make things soothing. Like everything is going to be all right, even when they may be in a panicked state of mind or things are not going their way. Like if they're frantic with something. I have been told, even when I do personally have my own anxieties to work over, that I basically assist them with my presence and how I don't overreact to a certain situation. Like I mentioned before in the past in one of my streams, how my mother accidentally left a plastic tin or a plastic container filled with mixed nuts at the back of her oven. And while she was preheating that to put some fries in there, and of course while she was on the call with one of her best friends, she noticed that something stunk really bad. So she opened up the oven and saw that the plastic was melted onto one of the racks, and thankfully it didn't get any worse, that it didn't start any fires. So when I arrived there to pick up a food delivery order, because normally I get Blue Apron to help with my cooking needs and hopefully basically eat more healthier than I normally would, I came in with the smoke, and she was kind of like in a frantic state of mind. So what I did was I put down my stuff. Instead of just taking the box and leaving, I just helped her out. Did the very best I could to remove the melted plastic from the racks. I know it took a lot of diligence, a lot of cutting, making sure that I wasn't slicing my finger off or that of my mother's, but we were able to make it go. I didn't raise a fuss at all in the night time, and honestly, that's what people do need oftentimes. When you are in a predicament such as that, it's good to, I know it can be easy to feel overwhelmed or absolutely anxious from the scenario at hand. But when you have someone that is able to basically keep the composure, learn not to over-exaggerate or to put blame on others or to, make worse of an entire situation, that can really help them to basically decrease the stress. I think I did remember her saying that she appreciated my calmness during this entire situation because, yeah, it did smell bad in there. Thankfully, we had the windows up, and all I can really say is I'm thankful that it didn't get any worse, that she was able to catch it in time, because that would have been a very scary situation. And honestly, she had a habit of storing things in the oven in the past. So, and she came to the realization that maybe she shouldn't do that anymore. That it should be something that maybe you should store them somewhere else to be on the safe side. So yeah, I have gotten people saying that I am calm to be around, so. And I hope to continue that path because, I mean, sure, there are going to be days in which I, feel off. Something might not be irritating me, but I try my absolute best to not have it get in my way or to confide in someone when the time seems right. Just to emphasize that, hey, this seems to be occurring. I wanted you to know about it, just to be so you are fully aware and just not let it get the best of me.
I know you have things to do and plans and so on, but whatever you decide, I hope we could still hang out together.
Yeah, I'd really like to. I don't know why we never did this before. Too busy, I guess.
Or maybe we weren't ready.
Yep.
Ready?
People change. Situations change.
They do.
Well, I'm ready now. I'm sorry it took so long. Sometimes I forget there are people who care.
Indeed. We can be very blindsided, especially when we maybe have our situations where we feel like there isn't anyone that cares. I'm all alone. No one cares about me, that kind of thing. But you'll be surprised. Even when they may not say it outright, there are individuals that care.
Evelyn, you could stay over one night. I mean, if you wanted. It doesn't have to be tonight, of course. Just if you feel like it.
Maybe I could. Maybe I will. Sometime.
The air is so clear and cold here. It's beautiful, too. There's an icy breeze coming over the sound. I wonder how many people I'm seeing right now. All of them with their own feelings and desires, their own fears and hopes and dreams and disappointments. The weight and significance and complexity of human lives. From a vantage point like this, it seems so small and distant, like I'm not part of it, even though I know I am. I'm a part of humanity, even though I don't always like it, even though it sometimes pushes me away. I don't know why it took so long, but at least I have an answer now. It may not be the only answer, but it's good enough for the moment. And that's more than I had before. Yes, I'm sure now. I'm going to... Yep. Forge an independent path to pursue art alongside Nora. After all, she was right. I could be a consultant, even start my own little company. It would give me the time and space to try making whatever I wanted to make. Pursue whatever interests I had. Maybe I'll finally get that music lesson from her. That sounds good. Last chapter! Holy crap, we're already here! Let's go! Can we actually finish this tonight?
This will work.
Oh my word. I might actually finish this game tonight. Hot damn! This might be well, depending on how far I get on Paradigm tomorrow, I might actually finish that game too. Holy crap, I didn't think I would finish this game already.
Are you sure?
I promise.
Please be safe, Damien.
Of course I'll be safe.
So we finally get to hear Damien's voice.
Would anyone like to have more wine?
I think I'm good for right now.
Nah, see? See, there it goes.
The flames shudder and wobble as they begin to spread to the logs, which crackle and hiss at the heat. So this must have taken place before Damien's death. After a while, the wildly leaping flames began to steady themselves, and we settle in around the pit.
Fire.
agent of destruction and creation.
Something nice about a campfire deep in the woods, isn't there?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming out here with me. I know camping isn't really your thing. Well, I mean, not Evelyn's thing, but I don't know about you, Nora.
Maybe a couple times. When I was a kid.
I never went camping myself.
I thought maybe since we're in pretty deep on all the things we're working on right now, we could all use it.
Yeah.
Because I used to, you know, when things got really bad, I'd come out into the woods and just be there. And it helped me. So I thought, maybe it would help you too. I don't know if it'll inspire you or what, but if more people could experience something like this, you know, something with the same meaning it holds for me.
It is nice. Honestly, I've been doing all right. Better than before, that's for sure. Finals are soon, but I'm not too worried.
You know, Evelyn's got her dissertation to finish up.
Oh.
Oh, how's that going, Evelyn?
Oh, Nora. Nah, I know. You know you're not supposed to ask how the dissertation is going.
Is that a rule?
Pour me that drink anytime.
Oh, sissies. It's stressing her out, basically.
See?
Yes, let's have a drink. I'm still kind of freezing, even with this fire going.
Nora reaches for a backpack and pulls up a thermos. She hands out plastic cups and pours into them a warm, dark liquid. Is that the wine?
Okay, this is delicious. You know, I've never actually had mulled wine like this before.
It is wine.
No, in my family, we always had it around this time of year.
You take red wine and add, what? Cinnamon, orange?
Yeah, those, and cloves, and, anise, star anise, and honey.
I forget what anise tastes like. I don't think I've ever had it in a recipe before.
That's it. Quite simple.
It's really warming me up.
That's what it's for. Ugh, so good. Evelyn, you doze off or something?
No, I'm awake. I was just looking at the fire. Kind of staring at it, I guess.
What do you see?
Everyone. People. Us.
I don't know what that means.
I think if we were going to make something to help people, it would be something that helped them see themselves. Something that reflected back on them somehow. Just a thought. It's probably nothing.
No, I like that though. Yeah, something to help you reflect. I think that's the right track. I'm really looking forward to working on these ideas with you two.
Oh, so this was before they started with Eliza then.
And just as soon as all this nonsense with school is over.
Everyone regards the fire in silence for a while, sipping Nora's mulled wine.
There's so many bad things happening in the world right now. But I don't know, somehow, for some reason, I feel like the future is going to be okay. I don't know why, I have this feeling that we're the ones. We're the ones who are going to fix it. Not we, like, you know, you or me, but I mean, like, our generation.
Perhaps.
I think we will.
I think we will.
The important thing is to try.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to try.
Sometimes you get tired of trying. Well, at least I do.
I wonder what things will be like 10 or 20 years from now. You know, will we have achieved our goals? What would we say to each other? What would we say to our younger selves? The future we want, the future we're trying to create, did it even happen?
Damien looks up in the sky.
Future selves, tell us if it happened, okay? Come back in time, just tell us that you made it happen, please.
Damien,
It's the wine.
it's more than just the wine.
I'm just interested in the future, that's all. My future, your future, humanity's future. Of course, right now, the only future I can picture is the headache I'm gonna have tomorrow morning, but...
Now, if only you brought some actually purified water then. Make sure not to drink the water from the lakes, though.
No reason to worry about it now.
Unless you're fully prepared to boil it.
You know what, you're right. I'll have some more.
Of course.
I think I'm passing out.
Well, it is pretty late.
Good night, Evelyn.
All right, good night, Evelyn. Hey, I know you've been working hard, so have a good rest, okay? You deserve it.
Thank you, Damien.
Okay, we're going to start with the basic waveforms.
Ooh. What's this now? Swift mail. The Rational Mind 20. You think you're so smart, but you're not. Women like you have nothing better to do than to criticize because you can't create on your own. Enjoy your knife being a shrill harpy nobody wants to listen to. Well, I wonder who sent this message. Maybe it had something to do with this. Dear Evelyn, thank you for submitting a talk proposal for the One Mind 3.0 conference. After a thorough review process conducted by your peers on the advisory board, I'm sorry to inform you that your submission, Eliza reappraised concerns and dangers inherited to computer-assisted therapy, was not selected as part of the program. Due to the high volume submissions received, we cannot comment on why individual submissions were declined. However, common reasons include overly specific subject matter that may not be applicable to most attendees, a lack of practical real-world relevance and actionable takeaways, multiple submissions that cover the same subject, and poor evaluations for previous speaking engagements. Finally, if your talk falls into a specific subcategory of the mental health care software and services market, such as programs targeted towards substance abuse or PTSD, you may want to submit it to the One Mind Summits, which take place on Monday and Tuesday of the conference. These focus events may be more suitable for your talk. So she got rejected. Might as well keep trying. Wait, I want to see. Did we get an email from this person? No? No? Guess not. I wonder if it's either Rainer or Soren.
An analog oscillator can generate several different basic waveforms, and each has a different sound to it.
Nora plugs one of the cables into an open spot on the front panel of the modula.
That's a sine wave.
Maybe I need to make a cosine? Nora reaches for a large dial and clicks it over to the next setting.
That's a square wave.
Oh. Is there a cosine wave? She clicks the dial again.
That's a sawtooth wave.
She clicks the dial one more time.
And that is a triangle wave.
You know, it's kind of hard for me to distinguish between the four of them.
Kind of similar to sine, isn't it?
Kinda.
That's it. Those are the basic types.
And, you make everything out of those?
Well, it gets more complicated quickly, but let's start with that. Okay, now that you have an output wave, you want to change the pitch.
Okay.
It's easy, right? It's the frequency of the wave.
Nora tweaks a different dial, making the frequency of the wave move up and down.
And then you have the amplitude of the wave.
Nora demonstrates another dial. There really are a lot of dials on this thing.
To shape the sound to make it more like a note and less like a constant tone, we can put an envelope on it. Let me hook that up really quick.
An actual envelope?
So this module here is a standard ADSR envelope.
Oh, so it's not that kind of envelope.
ADSR? You're going too fast.
Attack, decay, sustain, release. Very simple. The simplest kind of envelope, really.
I need to, write all this down or something.
Yes, please.
No. You'll learn it in no time.
Through practice, I suppose? Through hands-on experience? I hope so.
Nora, you just went through 10 different concepts and I didn't get any of them.
Here, let me just put an envelope on this. And a filter and a filter envelope.
Nora.
Listen to this.
Nora presses a button at a different part of the panel.
See? It sounds like a musical instrument now. And all it is an oscillator shaped by envelopes and filters and driven by a loop sequencer.
I wonder if all electronic artists talk in this way. I'm not sure. But I'm sure they would know all of the definitions and terms and instruments they would implement so they actually know what they're doing, of course.
Okay, but I don't know how you turn those beeps into that.
You just need to start playing with it.
But I don't know anything yet.
Yes, you do. You know the basics. Just start playing around. Come on, Evelyn. Try to experiment, okay? Pretend you are like a child and just do things. Don't worry about expertise or sounding good or whatever. It's supposed to be fun. So have fun!
We spent the rest of the night playing around and making weird noises with Nora's electronic music equipment. I didn't realize it then, but that was the beginning of a new direction in my life. The crowd at Jouissance is really responsive tonight. Something's in the air and everyone is feeling it. It might be the sense that spring is finally approaching after a long winter. Nora's been playing a bunch of her music tonight, but midway through she transitions into a different kind of track. Something a little more subdued, but hopefully still fun. This is a little track I made. Only the two of us know. I'm still working up the confidence to put my name to what I do, and I'm not sure I'll ever be the kind of person who gets up on stage. But this is still an important step for me. It's the first time a piece of music I made is being shared with the public. And that can go a definite long way. I mean, it may not be perfect, but it's a start. Nora never stopped encouraging me to mess around with all of the equipment she owns, and I ended up enjoying it quite a bit. I still don't know what I'm going to do to support myself in the long term, but I get by for now with contract work here and there. I also published an article describing how I became more skeptical of the computer assistant therapy approach. After that, Soren and Raina stopped trying to get me to join their companies. I don't need them. I want to reach the people who understand where I'm coming from, who want to hear what I have to say. Nora looks over to me and catches my eye. She's grinning. Uh-oh. That's a grin. That means she's up to something.
Isn't this a beautiful track, everyone? It's the very first track.
Oh no! She's calling me out! No! Nora points towards me and this crowd breaks into cheers.
Everyone, let her know we want to hear more of her music, okay?
Ah, damn it, Nora! Not yet! I'm too embarrassed.
Woo! You hear that? Yeah, what do you say, Evelyn?
The blood rushes to my face. People are smiling and applauding. They like what I made? They want me to make more? Nora continues her set and the music washes over me. You little mischievous creature. I don't know how it happened, but I'm tearing up right now. I have to use a sleeve to wipe my face. People are indistinct. Everything starts to blur together. I feel so warm.
I don't understand any of this, but I'm in love with it. Tonight, I'm in love with everyone, everything, even myself.
Oh, that's good.
I've never felt like this before, and I have no idea what I did to deserve it. But for the moment, I'm filled only with gratitude.
That's good to hear, Evelyn.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that led me to this place right here, this moment. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I don't know if I did much except for clicking on enough, but that's it. That's it. We did it. That was Eliza. Hot damn, we actually finished the game. I know there are multiple endings that kind of coincide with this, but I think the ending that I got out of all of those other options honestly seems quite grand. I'm happy with the choice I made. And it never really... And let's look at the voice talent. Did I recognize any of these people? Yuri Lowenthal. Okay. Yuri was a part of this. Let's see if I recognize anyone else. They really did a great job. Michael Gow? Maybe. Roger Craig Smith. That's where I recognize that name. That's where I recognize that voice. That was Sonic. Well, an older version of Sonic, mind you, but still, that was Sonic! Well, a version of Sonic, not the movie version that I'm sure a lot of people were like. Already heard mixed things about it, but you can't really please the critics oftentimes. Sometimes you just have to go into a movie, see if it's really up your alley, not pay attention to what the reviews are. And look at that. The day is a little bit brighter now. And it looks like you can choose from the chapters then in order to go down a different path. Let's actually see. Okay. Looks like we can. Okay, chapter 7 doesn't have any options because there really wasn't much for choice. So, there we go. That was Eliza. I like this. Though, I do personally see, like, I'm not sure if I would go back to this game anytime soon. It might take a long time and maybe some persistence to actually go back to this title, but from what it's worth, as a first outing for a visual novel, for a company that normally specializes in very intricate puzzles, this was a solid job. There was really good writing implemented here. Nothing seemed fake, and that's definitely elevated by the quality voice acting for everyone involved. I think each of them was well cast. Everyone. Even the ones that I did not recognize their names. The only two that I remember was Yuri Lowenthal, who is a great voice actor, and Roger Craig Smith, who is also a great voice actor. But everyone, regardless of their reputation, did exceptional. And I think this was a good story to really touch base on, especially with the mental health implications and how AI may not be the trick that we have been looking for, and how human connections can really go a long way to providing the assistance that one needs in order to basically pave a new life for them. Yeah, I did enjoy my time with this game. Will it have a lot of replay value for me? Probably not. I'm more than likely going to see if I can watch the alternate endings, perhaps, but I don't think it's going to be anything more extensive than that. But with that in mind, I guess it's time for me to choose the next game for my upcoming Tuesday ones. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go onto my picker wheel, and we're going to spin that bloody wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and open up, I think, the second one. Here we go. We still got quite a list of titles here that we can go through. So let me go ahead and bring this list up here. Let's see. Oh, probably go to the chat layout. I'm gonna go ahead and shrink myself down here. There we go. Let me go ahead and see if it's highlighted here. It should be. And let's see. Is it popping up? See if it pops up. Ah, there we go. All right. So whatever game is going to be picked here, and there's a lot of good choices to be had. We got... Oh, yeah, that's really a good line of choices. We got A Hat in Time, Katana Zero, Celeste, Hotline Miami 2. I remember playing the first one. Lisa the First, West of Loathing, Bastion, a game that I always wanted to go back to, Subliminal. I mean, there's a lot of possibly good titles. Super Meat Boy, anyone want to see me struggle with that game? Holy crap. Well, it's time to spin the wheel. But before I do that, just a preface that when the wheel spins, it may cause, very much persistent and swift imagery. So if you are photosensitive to any swift movements, or if you had a history of seizures or any sort of epilepsy symptom, you might want to turn away. I'll make sure to give a count to when I start spinning the wheel so that you are properly prepared for when the time comes. So, with that out of the way, I'm going to open this up here, and now I'm going to go by the count of 5. So, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's see what game I'll be playing starting next Tuesday, the first Tuesday of April. Ah, Pinstripe. Okay, we're gonna have... I do remember Markiplier playing this, or it wasn't Markiplier, it might have been Game Grumps too. And I know they had cameos from like Danny Sexbane and whatnot. So we got a little bit of a sort of horror adventure game on our hands. So I'm interested in playing this for the first time next Tuesday. All right. Okay then. So we are going to be done. We're going to go ahead and eliminate this from our list. And we're going to save it so I remember that the choice has been taken. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hide it then. There we go. So, with that said, we have conquered yet another game for the month of March. So thank you so much for tuning in. I know with visual novels, there's not much in the terms of engagement with, gameplay and whatnot, but I was very intrigued about the story. I definitely am glad that I continued to see it through, because if I didn't, that next Tuesday would have been a much shorter stream. So I'm glad that I went through it all the way.